For only $93, our technician will clear any drain in your home. And if it can't be cleared, it's free. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P10277-688, D10401465, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Being injured in an accident can leave you feeling vulnerable and lost. You need a fast and fair resolution and a law firm that can protect you. At Brown, Painteris & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience and will treat you with respect and dignity. If you've been injured, BPS lawyers are here to help. At BPS than a lawyer, you get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Reese is also listening.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And, of course, welcome to your Wednesday, or as I like to call it, Whack Job Wednesday on News Talk 1080 WTIC. We're going to talk about something specific today, and you know, I've always sort of distanced myself from all the crazy, or what I used to call crazy doomsday preppers, but you get older, and all of a sudden, that 25-year-old packet of food, you know, the food that lasts 25 years, that stuff starts to look interesting to you. You get a certain age, you go a certain place, you know, you see, I'll never forget, it was just recently, the wife and I went to Costco, and we saw this man in the aisle looking at the big, tall bucket of food, and he was there rubbing his chin, like you would normally see, like on television, like the guy who's contemplating something, rubbing on his chin, looking at the bucket. And my wife looks at it. She goes, "Hey, look, honey, this is that ration thing, that 25-year supply stuff. Is, you know, lasts for 25 years." And the guy's like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about whether or not I should get it." And I've never been so intrigued, not at the item, but just at somebody who would never consider it, considering it. And it immediately made me curious. I started looking at it going, maybe. I don't know. And so we had this phone call yesterday with a guy who said he is the brother-in-law of somebody who runs the Vivos Underground Company. I think the exact name of it is called Vivos Global Shelter Network, and it's everywhere. And I started looking up the website yesterday, and I sat around, I watched the video. Apparently, this has been featured on the Travel Channel, the Travel Network, and these things are serious. I want to get into some of the details today. I'm not going to play any of the audio, but I am going to detail some of the videos that I watched of several packages that you can buy. And the prices are interesting as well. It's all listed on the site, except for the ones that are like, you know, like group packages. Some of them you have to call and sort of figure out, just like you would any package. But when you hear the pricing, you're going to be pretty impressed, because from what I get, it is a one-time fee, because I'm assuming it's, you know, it's the end of the world as we know it, and you spend this one-time fee, and it's not that expensive. It's not that expensive. So we'll talk a little bit about that during Whack Job Wednesday today. I'm waiting on the O'Keefe Media bid. According to sources, O'Keefe is supposed to be dropping it now. he had revealed that he is going to drop the first tranche at 3 p.m. Eastern. It is after 3 p.m. Of course, Reese on the radio was on. I've seen nothing yet, but I'm going to have to go through it during the commercial breaks. We'll see what we can find out. Let me say this before we get to the opening monologue, an abbreviated opening monologue, if I may. For those of you who pay attention to this palace intrigue and the stuff in Washington, according to several people, O'Keefe is about to reveal someone, and this is just speculative and some reports that say that someone inside the Trump administration is under scrutiny in these O'Keefe videos. That person in question is none other than the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. And I watched the videos. You may have known that I mentioned this yesterday. For those of you, I said, check out this teaser that James O'Keefe put out yesterday, and they're really, really quick clips. She had to slow them down. My wife and I actually, she had to slow them down on a commercial to look at them, on a computer to look at them. And sure enough, one of the individuals that are featured in this was Pam Bondi, as well as Jeffrey Epstein, as well as Pfizer. So this teaser suggests that these are the 2 to 3 different videos that are going to be associated in this release. So again, we'll pay attention to it. I'm sure you are as well. If you get word of it that it's dropped, let us know in the chat room. Just go. By the way, I've got some information about the website, reeseonradio.com. There's a whole mess going on, but we figured it out, and we'll explain that to you as well. Now, to the opening monologue, with the little time that we have left. Miguel Cardona, former Secretary of Education under the Biden administration, has written an op-ed. Headline, Parents Deserve Choices, but not at public schools' expense. Did you get a chance to read this? This is where the problem is with bureaucrats. And when you read this, you start to realize why the homeschooling parents and students have a case against the public school system. No one wants them to succeed. Their success impedes public schools, which have been a failure. And the problem is with guys like Cardona here, a Meriden alumni, he's from Meriden, Connecticut. The problem with guys like him is that he wishes to continue to fund failing schools. He writes it in his op-ed, which goes to show you these people don't care about your children. They don't want the best education for them. I'll read some of it, but hear me out. Here's what he writes. Public education is the great equalizer. Like millions of American students across the country today, growing up, I had only what my neighborhood school provided. And in my case, it was a good start. It allowed an economically disadvantaged English learner to go on to earn a doctorate and advise the President of the United States. Still, I believe in school choice. In fact, I'm a product of school choice. I chose to attend a public technical high school instead of the traditional neighborhood option. 30 years later, I believe that choice helped me get to the position of Secretary of Education. My career as an educator, and more importantly as a father, confirms my belief that every parent should have options on how to educate their children. Whether they have chosen public schools, independent schools, parochial religious schools, charter or magnet schools, I have seen students flourish. Great opening. Until he does this, which completely undermines everything he just said. What I do not believe is reducing public education dollars to fund vouchers or academic scholarships to private institutions. While many of those institutions do great work preparing students, they take funding from underperforming schools that are so cash-strapped that they are already unable to provide students basic services or adequate learning conditions. What Cardona doesn't understand is that if the school is failing, we can't continue to fund them, suggesting that funding them is going to make them better. Cardona doesn't understand how anything works. At a failing operation, that's not how anything should work. The problem with bureaucracy is they refuse to step away from bureaucracy and run it like you would any other private industry. Now, I know a lot of people are against that. I understand the libs don't say, well, you can't run education like a business. Why not? They are producing a product, aren't they? An educated populace. That's what we pay them to do. If they were a manufacturing mill of any sort, if they were just a manufacturing facility, what would they be doing? We'd be funneling the children in, and the factory workers would be sending out children at the end of their school year and sending them out as educated products to pretty much enrich the society. That's what they're doing. It would be like putting in clay and them coming out with beautiful vases or beautiful antiques, whatever the case may be. They would be coming out with some sort of product that was useful in society. But you're telling me that they keep pushing out useless, and I mean useless, dumb, uninformed idiots. And Cardona here says that we shouldn't defund these things, that we shouldn't shut them down. We should keep throwing money in to an establishment that keeps producing failure. How does that work? How is that going to make lives better in the state or in municipalities like Hartford, East Hartford, Bridgeport, Bristol? How does that make life better for them? Everybody knows that it doesn't, but that's the problem. He goes on. In fact, the national proliferation of voucher programs is contributing to the defunding of public education, an effort that the current administration seems to be accelerating with their policies. The impact of this will be felt for many years, not least our country's stand in the world, which will be dependent on the decisions that are made in education in the next few years. What do you think the impact is now? It's as if they don't see the current product as a failure. As if they're saying, give us another chance. I promise you we won't fail them again. At what point is enough enough? I don't understand why no one seems to get it. I mean, this, maybe the problem is that these folks do not understand basic math. Because, you know, my ex-wife used to say something to me all the time. And I used to poo-poo it and dismiss it. And I reveled in the idea. The way I manage my home, my wife would say, hey, can you look at the sink? I think there's a leak. And I would respond to her by saying, I have no idea how to do that. Just call a guy. You can't solve everything by throwing money at it, she used to say. You should at least know how to fix it in the event that we can't get a plumber, or a plumber is too expensive, or if we end up on a waiting list for a plumber, we're going to be saddled with the problem until one comes around. Money is not going to solve it. We have to learn how to do this on our own in the event of an emergency. Now, I used to beef at her about that because the truth was, I just didn't want to do it. Truth was, I figured we had the finance to do it. Let's just hire a guy to do it so I don't have to learn it. It was my own laziness. It's true. I admit it. I was lazy. I didn't want to have to learn it. In fact, I'll admit, sometimes I still do it. But the truth is, she had to force me to get under that sink and to figure it out. And I did. I figured it out, and now when there was a leak, now when there's a problem, now when my wife puts God knows what in our garbage disposal, I know how to fix that now. Even though I reluctantly get up underneath that sink because I don't want to be bothered, I know that I can do it. Point is, these folks, they don't want to fix the problem. It could be for 1,000 reasons. I could come up with a couple right off the top of my head. They don't want an intelligent electorate. They want to protect their own slush fund, which is the teachers union. Do you know one teachers union, the NEA, pulls in billions of dollars in dues? Billions of dollars in dues. And that money only ends up back in the coffers of politicians. I mean, it's like it's the craziest slush fund. But Cardona is a part of that problem. And he is out of the Biden administration, and he writes this op-ed telling people that the public schools are going to suffer. Public schools are going to suffer. The crazy part about this article is that never once does Cardona even consider the children suffering. There isn't an iota of compassion or interest even on what the children are dealing with. The conversation he's having here is talking about how the facilities are crumbling, how these schools are losing money and the infrastructure is awful, but never talking about the status of children and learning. That never seems to be the conversation. And when it's broached, you remember Randy Weingarten was approached about the loss of learning after COVID when she was forcing all of these schools to go down. She didn't have a response. She just felt awful. That's sad. That's really bad that we had so many children who suffered learning loss. But no one's ever talked about any remedies. And here you have parents who have decided enough is enough. I can't trust these people to educate my children. I can't trust these people to not indoctrinate them. I can't trust these people to put the priorities of reading, writing, and arithmetic over gender ideology and transgender sexual books. I can't get them to do it anymore. I have to take matters into my own hands. And they've decided to take matters in their own hands. And what do the education bureaucrats decide? No. We're going to go through obstacles in your way and stop you from taking it into your own hands. It is insane. It is crazy. And just like 2019, this should not be allowed to pass. According to some reports, I think there are like 40,000 families that are homeschooled in the state of Connecticut. Folks, if you can hear my voice, keep your foot on their necks. Do you understand me? Do not let up. You have the high ground. If there's anything morally ethical or someone has moral ethics on this, you do. You have the moral high ground. What you're doing is saving your children's lives. They don't care about your children. They care about money. And with all of this nonsense with that side talking about the oligarchy and the millionaires and the billionaires, talking about money over people, they are showing exactly who they are. They don't give two damns about you. They care about their power, their influence, and their coffers. Keep your foot on their necks. Do not let up. And you have a voice, and you have an outlet. That place is Reese on the radio. We'll be back. More news, more views, and don't forget it's Whack Job Wednesday on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Here at ALO, we believe hearing solutions to your main drain problems shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free mainline drain camera inspections and free estimates on sewer line repair or replacement. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO when you call, click, or text today and say, "Hello, ALO." Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776888, D10401465, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Coverage varies by plan, view contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
And now, a WTIC news update.
Maybe not.
It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Partly cloudy skies, 7.
Yeah, I don't know. It's the check guy.
In Hartford. All the forecast details coming up. Black smoke from a chimney at the Sistine Chapel meant no pope was selected today. Cardinals from around the world processed too, and were.
If I was all them Cardinals, I'll milk that until.
Right?
Couldn't milk it no more. It's just
late pope
having a good time.
Has been made in a homicide in New Haven. Detectives say Edwin Arroyo Roman of New Haven, charged in the stabbing death of 35-year-old Naisha Mendez. Her body was found at Evergreen Cemetery last Friday. The suspect being held on a $3 million bond. Also in New Haven, police investigating a daylight double shooting. 43-year-old man struck in the leg, 15-year-old hit in the backside on Chamberlain Street. A man has died following a motorcycle crash in Wallingford. Police there say Evan Waycott was traveling along Durham Road last Saturday when he crashed the bike. He was pronounced dead today at Yale New Haven. Day 3 of the strike by machinists against Pratt & Whitney. No new talks have been scheduled. And 3 former Memphis cops have been acquitted of state charges, including second-degree murder in the fatal beating of Tyree Nichols after he ran away from a traffic stop in 2023. The jury took about 8 hours over 2 days to find the former police officers not guilty on all charges. The 3 defendants, though, still face the prospect of years in prison after they were convicted of federal charges last year. WTIC News Time, 3:32. Here's the forecast.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, variably cloudy. Watch for a shower in spots. The high is 71. Mainly clear tonight. The low only down to 54. Thursday, mostly cloudy. We'll have a shower in the afternoon. A little milder, though, with the high up to 73. Partly to mostly cloudy Thursday night. Couple of showers. Then a cooler day Friday with some rain, so definitely take your umbrella. Now, that rain may come at the risk of some localized flooding. The high of 60. Saturday, occasional morning rain. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, breezy and warmer. The high 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
From the WTIC 24-hour traffic network in Hartford, 84 east between exits 48 and 49. You've got the left lane out due to a 2-vehicle crash. Also down in Clinton, multi-vehicle crash reported 95 south between exits 64 and 63 with the left lane closed. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
We promise fast, friendly, reliable service. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts about the latest medical news and call in with your questions. Healthy Rounds, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com.
Do your feet hurt? Maybe you pronate. Or you could be a supinator. Hi, this is Michael DeCibio from New Balance South Windsor and Avon. Trying to figure out what your feet need for support on your own can be an overwhelming task, but not at New Balance. We will take 3 measurements of both your feet, do a computerized foot evaluation, and check your ankle alignment, all to ensure you have the proper support, which allows you more comfort and the ability to keep moving. Stop into New Balance South Windsor or New Balance Avon today.
Yard Goats baseball is back Tuesday, May 13th, and we face the Mets affiliate. Tuesday, we've got a kids' jersey giveaway. Wednesday, it's Harry Potter night with a special hat giveaway. Thursday is Mental Health Awareness Night. Friday, we've got great food and drink specials. Saturday, we've got post-game fireworks. And Sunday, kids run the bases after the game. Get your tickets now before they're gone at yardgoatsbaseball.com.
At Ayala Home Services, we handle hundreds of water heater issues a year. We know how much of an inconvenience no hot water is, and with our fully stocked trucks and warehouse, you can get your hot water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776888, B1040145, B1185643, S33086999, HIC 628926, SM30044646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Hi, Tom Shattuck here. Nope, no bold political predictions. Today, instead, I'm making a bolder prediction. An opportunity, one might say. How about setting a goal to lose 40 pounds by the 4th with Awaken 180? Has a different ring to it when you have a finish line, right? 40 by the 4th. Imagine this. Your scale shows 240 today. How about watching that dip to a cool 200 by Independence Day? Or maybe it's reading over 300 like my scale did. How would it feel seeing 260 by the 4th and on your way to losing 80 pounds? Again, like I did with Awaken 180. Looking back, it took me only 5 weeks to drop my first 40. Of course, that's not the norm, but we'll just say I'm an overachiever. Regardless, if you set your goal and follow the program, you'll crush your goal by the 4th. Then ring Independence Day in, shirt off, confident, martini and burger in hand. Celebrate reaching your goal, knowing you'll keep the weight off thanks to free support for life. 40 by the 4th. Set your goal and attain it with your long-term solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenics Total T.
I've heard about Nugenics. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenics, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text ENERGY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenics Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenics Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ENRGY to 42424. That's ENERGY to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-86 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
I don't even know what to say about this, but if there's anybody who can explain to me what in God's name is happening in New York, did you hear about this, Roland? That there is a bronze 12-foot statue of an overweight black woman? Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I saw it online.
So you did see this. Okay, I don't know what I'm supposed to make of this. Like, what is the purpose of this? I don't know if it's pandering. I don't know if it's meant as a joke. It just out of nowhere. We were just like, here's an underrepresented group of people. Let's build them a statue and put it. For what? For what? This is the CBS affiliate in New York.
It's a plus-size woman. I'm a plus-size man. I'm African-American. It's an African-American woman statue. So just seeing another piece for me to stop and just have a moment with was very powerful.
Me being a plus-size black woman, I kind of looking at it was just like, oh, I wonder what me as a small child would have thought looking at something like that. Representation. The piece is part of...
Okay, stop it. Okay? Let's just stop it. It must stop. It's got to stop. It's embarrassing. It just is. I don't know. I'm not even going in there. I'm not just not going there. Because I'm immediately going to be called all types of names because I won't just accept it, right? I'm supposed to look at that and just go, what's the problem? And I'm going, a myriad, a slew of problems. But okay, all right, but it's New York. The place, I say this all the time, and I know it sounds mean, but I don't care. I'm from there. And I'll never go back. I don't want to step foot in that city. I don't want to look at it. It is a hellhole, a cesspool. I hope the place drowns underwater in so many ways. It's not a viable city. If you thought Los Angeles was a crap hole, New York is far worse than that. It's just awful. There's nothing redeemable about the city anymore. Just no more. It's over. Did you see a bunch of 12-year-olds attack the police in Times Square? Did you watch that video? Roland, did you happen to see that today?
No, I didn't.
Oh my goodness. And here's to show you how crazy this is. Apparently, these young hooligans are a Tren de Aragua offshoot. Like they've got a satellite gang in New York who are running up on the police. Talk about blatant disregard for authority. A bunch of 12-year-olds who I presume are not even American citizens who came up with a Tren de Aragua satellite gang. One of the kids in the middle of the melee, I kid you not, folks, watch the video. In the middle of the melee, one of the kids jumps on one of those Razor scooters and scoots off after he attacks police. Just hops on a scooter and zooms away. I look at that and I just go, what's going on? When I'm going to say something. I can't help it. But people are going to be, when I was in my 20s, my mid to late 20s, living in Manhattan, we had a couple of rough kids in the neighborhood. They were a couple of ruffians. They ran around unsupervised through Washington Square Park. And the kids were a little rude, and disruptive, disorderly. And they would approach my little group at Washington Square Park who hung out there every day. And the kids would be there cursing, asking for cigarettes and things like that. And I would look at them and I would just go, hey, short stack. Listen, no offense, but please take that nonsense someplace else. If one of you kids get a little unruly, a lot of people are going to get arrested because this group does not suffer fools. Okay? Somebody in this group, and I'm not going to mention who it is, but if you approach them, they are not ashamed to punch a little 12-year-old. Okay? Just please, just go away and keep it moving. And I know these people are sitting up here going, what do you do? They're kids. I don't know. I don't know what you do. But you have to ask yourself at some point, the level at which these kids are approaching adults and the police. Like, if these kids will do this to the police, what do you think they'll do to you? And you're going to have to ask yourself, What are you going to take the moral high ground? No, I don't want to beat up a kid. No, sorry. You're just going to have to take one. It's one of those things where you're going to just have to take the L. He was 7. He was holding a gun. I don't know. What are you going to do? I don't know. I don't know what anyone will do. 860-522-WTIC. Tony's in Southington. How are you, Tony?
How you doing, buddy? This is non-political today. Song request that you may or may not have heard of before because you're the same generation as I am.
Okay.
But I want to give you a producer, Babyface. I love you, babe.
I like Babyface when I was a kid, but you know what? I have banned all slow.
Love you, babe.
I have banned all slow jams from my repertoire. I will not listen to an R&B slow jam ever again. And I'll tell that story one day, but it's actually pretty funny. But yeah, I'm against the R&B slow jam. Babyface is at the top of the list of that band list. Thank you, sir. Let's go to Jim in Wellington. How are you, Jim?
Yes, sir. Hey, did I miss something? Is this non-political day?
No. We're talking about anything and everything. Right now, we're talking about this offshoot Trende Aragua satellite group that attacked the...
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Bowery... yeah. Argentina's version of... Venezuela's version of the Bowery Boys.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, listen, they've been around for a while. They're picked because they are juveniles. That's the first thing. Second thing is they live in either the Row or the Roosevelt. The New York police can't go in there and investigate in any way, shape, or form.
Did those particular kids that they're because I know that 3, at least I think I remember the police commissioner in New York City gave a press conference. I think today, if not yesterday, and said that 3 have been arrested so far of this little offshoot gang. But they say that the ringleader, oddly enough, and this is the crazy part, Jim. The ringleader is 12. He was the one that was running off, who got away on a little Razor scooter.
Yeah, well, it goes back a little further. At one time, that the ringleader was older, and I believe they caught him out of New York State, someplace else. I don't remember. But that goes back to last.
Yeah. I remember that story. I remember that was the one where the 2 police officers got into an altercation with many of them, and Alvin Bragg released them, within 48 hours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and the thing is, it's just a test because they're just getting turned around, right back out in the street, just like the rest of the illegal immigrants. And at what point is it going to take? Do you have to kill a cop? Or I don't know.
You know what? I'll put it to you this way. Here's a perfect example, Jim. You know what? I'll take another story that's related to this, right? Imagine Daniel Penny was on the subway with one of these 12, 13, 14-year-olds harassing people on the subway, and he tried to subdue one of those kids, and one of those kids lost their lives. What do you think the reaction would have been? Because that's what's happening. That's what's going to happen next.
We saw the reaction when the last gentleman who got acquitted, who Alvin Bragg and company just that was another horrendous. They went after that guy, basically calling him a murderer, etc. We saw the reaction.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, is that you're going to get a situation where one of these young kids, 10, 12-year-old, is going to get the drop on somebody who's in the city, and in an effort to save or preserve their own life or the life of a loved one or innocent people, one of these kids are going to get killed. And what do you think is going to happen in New York? They'll turn that victim who had to save his own life or preserve his own life, they'll turn him into a criminal.
Yeah, well, let me end with this. Why is it that we don't, or maybe we do, have somebody in the Row Hotel or in the Roosevelt undercover in some way, shape, or form? I'm almost positive we do. I can't tell you why, but just to keep tabs on what the heck is going on.
Indeed.
Even though we know what's going on.
Indeed.
And take it from there on. And it blows my mind. So why doesn't the city of New York put 4 or 5 or 10 homeless people in that hotel.
Exactly. I think
maybe,
right now,
or maybe some poor people.
what we're watching at the Roosevelt Hotel is state-sponsored gang activity because they're being paid to be in there. That's what it is.
It's the whole process goes against the poorest of the poor. It goes against the migrants who are abused more by their own countrymen.
Indeed.
And the American citizen who's getting abused even more. And then federal law. When are the people in New York or out in California going to wake up?
And it's crazy because guess what they're going to
up?
do? The crazy part is they're going to end up voting for somebody to be mayor of the city who is going to probably exacerbate that even further, and that's Andrew Cuomo, a guy who's going to come in.
He will run that. He's going to run that up. So by the time he gets done, he's exactly right. He's going to run. Oh my gosh, I'm the savior of the poor, downtrodden, coming across our shores.
You're 100%
by the time he gets
right.
done, well, that's all I'll say. Thanks for giving me the time.
You got it, boss man. I appreciate you. Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. I don't think Andrew Cuomo's going to get into that city and clean it up at all. I don't think so at all. And it's funny because he's polling at 33%. He's polling higher than the current mayor, Eric Adams. And they're pulling out all the stops to keep Andrew Cuomo from being mayor. But you know what? The guy's got name recognition. I mean, he is New York. So who knows? We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. I want to talk about this Vivos Underground Fortress. One of the facilities I'll explain to you in a little bit, which is insane. I was wondering what happens if you're in this facility, right? It's doomsday. You're underneath in this bunker, right? And let's say some criminal activity happens inside the bunker. Somebody's assaulted, somebody, steals, whatever the case may be. What do you do about that when you're locked into this society? Well, I'm going to explain that to you. Apparently, this Vivos Underground thing, they thought of everything. So we'll break that down when we get back. So stick around. More news, more views. It's Whack Job Wednesday on Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
As men get older, our bodies change. We all know that. And often we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym, could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make a change for the good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Seems everything days, gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/.
Here we go.
It's Reese on the radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Back to the phones we go real quick. What's going on, Mark?
Yeah, real quick. Last half hour, you mentioned like how many homeschoolers there are. So there's close to 44,000.
Correct.
What number you didn't give, which I think is important, and I hate to bore people with numbers, but they're important in this case, is that number had doubled in the last 5 years.
Yes.
It was just 22,000 5 years ago.
That's correct.
So what is the public school system in Connecticut doing to offset the decrease in numbers as they're asking for more money?
Correct.
Like, so for the 22,000 more in 5 years, that represents like $483 million that they don't have to spend anymore. Now, I know they get paid per pupil, but this is the time now to consolidate schools, to maybe shut down a school or two. I don't think they're doing any of that.
No, there's no interest in it. In fact, that's what Cardona is talking about. That's the crux of his article. He says that he doesn't believe that it should be, this school choice thing should be put at the public schools' expense. That those schools that are failing those kids, where clearly no one's graduating, clearly there are truancy problems, and there's no proficiency, those schools shouldn't lose money because, of course, what happens when they do? You have to shut them down and start putting kids in other places. Even if you have to bus kids to other schools because of these failing schools, it doesn't matter. The offset as far as how much it costs is much less than what it would cost anyway, right? You still got the same money that's going to those kids, but the bottom line is that the failing schools, you need to get not just the schools closed down, but you got to get rid of those teachers. They're
So are we expected that it's going to double in another 5 years? And if it does, then it doubles again in 10?
It probably, if they never change it, right? And I think that's part of the whole plan. Why we get rid of the Board of Education, that's one. Two, we have a overhaul of the public school system, as it were. And I think the most important part, and I think it's to what you're saying, is that when they finally realize that more and more parents are going to the homeschooling, plan, that these public schools have to decide on what they're going to do. Either they're going to compete or they're going to continue to fail. Because if you lose more students, what are you going to do with all of the teachers that are there? You have to start firing them. Or their other plan, and I think this is probably why we've seen it so much, why there's been such an interest in keeping immigrant families in the state. Because the more who are here, those kids go directly to the public school system.
They fill the slots, but they might not be able to fill the boxes with success and graduation and, being able to, pass the test required and all that. Those still get bumped along. And I guess I'll leave you with this. Too bad there's not a James Rutkowski, not from Hartford, just from anywhere in Connecticut. Too bad you don't have, like, somebody calling that's willing to speak openly, even if they didn't identify themselves. But I find it very suspect. With everything going on with education, you don't have one person calling on a regular basis.
They won't. It's funny because
me.
Isn't that one of the things that you and I have realized lately? And nothing against the people who want to be whistleblowers, but their biggest problem, and I've dealt with this so far 4 times, there are more people who are concerned that speaking out they're going to lose their job. Not that I don't understand that, but at the same time you can't be a half whistleblower. You can't half step on this. If there's something going on at your school, you got to be willing to risk it all to fix it. So I don't know. I got to go to a break.
Especially when kids are involved.
Exactly,
Okay,
especially when kids are involved. We got to take a break. Let's get our first check of weather and traffic with Jason Caterina And Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. Happy Wednesday, Mark.
Same to you, Reese. Thank you very much. Well, if you're heading toward Hartford right now, westbound side of 84, you got delays 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney, 84 eastbound locked up, 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel, 91 southbound delays 33 down to 32 A and B. A little slow again down by exit 28, Hartford Weathersfield line. Slowing again 19 in Meriden down to 17 for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway. Northbound Parkway, you've got slow traffic from 67 up to 68 N&E in the construction. After that, 91 northbound moving well, Cromwell up through downtown up into Windsor. 291, 384, okay, 2 westbound slowing, 1D up to the 84 west merge. 9 northbound is slowing, Harbor Park up to the Aragodi Bridge. 9 northbound again slowing from exit 34 up to 36 in New Britain. 9 southbound, you've got sluggish traffic 35 down to exit 33 in New Britain. Heading into Waterbury, 84 eastbound slowing by 18, and again 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 Waterbury's tight, 22 into the Mixmaster. And if you are traveling in toward the New Haven area right now, 95 southbound delays 46 to 44. 95 southbound on the Westbrook Clinton line, we have an accident between 64 and 63. Left lane block delays back to 65 behind that. Traffic and weather together on the 8s, WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, variably cloudy. Watch for a shower in spots. The high is 71. Mainly clear tonight. The low only down to 54. Thursday, mostly cloudy. We'll have a shower in the afternoon. A little milder, though, with the high up to 73. Partly to mostly cloudy Thursday night. Couple of showers. Then a cooler day Friday with some rain, so definitely take your umbrella. Now, that rain may come at the risk of some localized flooding. The high of 60. Saturday, occasional morning rain. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, breezy and warmer. The high 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 4 o'clock at afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The papal conclave is underway at the Sistine Chapel. White smoke from the chimney means a new pope. Black smoke, no pope. Correspondent Nora O'Donnell reports on the first day, it was the latter.
Black smoke from the Sistine Chapel signaling to the world no pope has been elected. The 133 voting cardinals will resume bright and early tomorrow.
An arrest has been made in the killing of a woman in New Haven last week. 35-year-old Nesha Mendez was found stabbed in Evergreen Cemetery last Friday. Police Chief Carl Jacobson.
Detectives were able to quickly establish a suspect, Edwin Arroyo Roman, 55 of New Haven. They were found to, they had a relationship. He was arrested last night after confessing to the homicide.
Roman was arraigned today on the murder charge. Bond was set at $3 million. Police also made an arrest in a homicide from last year. Oscar Darius charged in the murder of Gregory Perez Sr. in January of 2024. The TSA reports smooth going at U.S. airports on the first day of Real ID. That's the driver's license or other government ID card with stepped-up security features. WTIC's Dave Mager has more from Bradley Airport.
TSA is reminding everyone that Wednesday was the Real ID deadline date, not the enforcement date. So people are being allowed on board with regular ID after some possible extra screening. And even after the enforcement date, other forms of ID like a passport will be okay. Lynn Swenson of Daytona Beach didn't need that for a trip to visit her granddaughter.
It went fine today. I didn't notice any congestion at TSA. I've had my Real ID for about 4 years because in Florida we started early.
And TSA New England spokesperson Dan Velez says most flyers on day one were like Lynn. They've got their Real ID.
The majority of individuals that are coming to the security screening area are already Real ID compliant.
Keeping the security lines moving. At Bradley Airport, Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Federal Reserve kept its key interest rate unchanged today, brushing off President Trump's demand to lower borrowing costs, and said the risks of higher unemployment and higher inflation have risen. Fed kept the rate at 4.3% for the third straight meeting. India fired missiles into Pakistani-controlled territory in response to a recent terror attack. Officials say at least 26 people were killed, and Pakistan's leader is calling it an act of war. New Delhi claims at least 7 people were killed by Pakistani shelling in response to those strikes.
There are concerns now that this is going to escalate. The Pakistani government called the Indian strikes an unprovoked and blatant act of war that had violated Pakistan's sovereignty. So this is all unfolding in that disputed area of Kashmir. We've seen it before. I've reported from that region before. We haven't seen it quite escalate to this point.
It's correspondent Charlie D'Agata at the Pentagon. Checking Wall Street just before the close, the Dow up 284 points, NASDAQ up 48, S&P up 24. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Coverage varies by plan. Exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, so it's official. We don't have any word on the Pope, or at least the selection for a Pope. So apparently they're going to have to wait another day and see whether or not. I think it's 2/3 vote. Yeah, it's 2/3 vote for them to, I guess, affirm who is going to be the next Pope. I'm assuming a lot of people, Catholics, of course, are very excited about this. I'm watching it as close as I possibly can. I will admit I probably don't cover it or follow it as much as I used to, the Catholic faith, in that, as far as like the Vatican and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to get more information on it. I'm ripping up paper here. Don't forget, today is Whack Job Wednesday. We're going to talk about this bunker, Vivos underground shelter, and they have different styles in all of this. And I'm looking at them, and I'll tell you right off the bat, I am going to reiterate what I said yesterday. Not interested in living in this bunker. I'm staying outside with everybody else. You know, let the meteor come down and fall on my face. Like someone said yesterday. Also, this Pakistan-India thing, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, because I thought about this and I was talking to my wife about it. I said, in a war between two nuclear powers, India and Pakistan, who have been fighting over the Kashmir mountains for thousands of years, I kept saying, who do you think is the good guy or the bad guy in all of this, right? Who's provoking who? Who's in the right? Who's in the wrong? That's how everybody looks at this stuff, especially geopolitically. That's how they do. I try not to. But in my head, I'm saying to myself, the news media is going to pick a hero and a villain, a victor and a villain, whatever, a victor and a villain, or a victim and a villain. And I was thinking about this, and I said, does anybody remember when Pakistan told the United States, Osama bin Laden? Nah, I ain't seen him. Does anybody remember that? I do. I'm sorry, who are you looking for? Osama bin Laden? Nah. Who's that guy? The most wanted terrorist in the world? Nah, never heard of him. What did he do again? I'm just saying. And sure enough, where was he found? Pakistan's backyard. That's all I'm going to say about this. If you've got a point of view, please share it. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. I'm just saying. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic on the 8s. with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
Hey, Reese, thank you. Southbound 91 delays 33 in Hartford down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. Now, if you are trying to get on the northbound side of 91 coming into downtown Hartford, things look pretty good from Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tied up 56 Governor Street to 47 Circuity, 84 eastbound delays 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 2 westbound slowing, 1D up to the 84 West merge. If you're heading into Middletown, you're okay. 9 in the Aragodi Bridge, 84 eastbound slowing in Cheshire, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 some slow traffic, 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Danbury tight 3 to 5 again. 84 eastbound slowing 10 to 11 in Newtown. South 95 New Haven slowing 46 down to exit 44. And northbound Parkway a little tight, 59 up into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, it's been not a bad day for us. And as we head through tonight, partly cloudy and remaining mild, the low down to 54. For our Thursday, not a nice day. More clouds than sun, but the high back up to 75. Partly to mostly cloudy, couple of showers Thursday night, the low down to 55. Now, Friday, going to be a cooler day to round out the week with rain around. Now, that beneficial rain may come at the risk of some localized flooding with a high of 60. Periods of rain and thunderstorms continue Friday night. So, again, we'll have to continue to watch for some flooding at that time. Saturday, just some occasional morning rain, then remaining mostly cloudy, breezy. A warmer day, the high 69. Still looking great for the moms on Sunday. Pleasant and warmer with lots of sun. Dry and comfy for Mother's Day with the high up to 77. Right now, 70 in Danbury, 72 for Bridgeport. It's 72 in Mansfield and Hartford as well. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
At Joe the Plumber, we know that toilets and sinks always pick the worst times to act up. That's why we promise fast, friendly, reliable service. The friendly part is about you, not the plumbing. We're going to get medieval on that. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
This Cinco de Mayo weekend, let's keep our community safe from drunk driving. If you celebrate a little too much, use a rideshare or designated driver. Amigos, don't let amigos drive drunk. Think before you drink. From your friends at Carter Mario Injury Lawyers.
At Progressive, we're making things easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Did you ever come home on a hot day, open your door, and your air conditioner just doesn't feel right? That's a real summer bummer. Say, come on into Campbell. From a simple seasonal tune-up or an air conditioner repair to the installation of a much more cost-efficient cooling system, Campbell's got the cool tools. Veteran-owned and managed, Campbell Heating and Cooling. Visit campbellcooling.com.
Campbell Cooling uses all major name brands, including American Standard and Mitsubishi heating and cooling equipment. Let our expert technicians cool your home this summer.
Did you hear? A stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from...
All right, here we go.
Before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
That's right. Whack Job Wednesday here on News Talk 1080 WTIC. I don't know. I don't know who is like one of these doomsday preppers, or even if you're a casual one, I kind of want to hear from you because, you know, I want to be convinced, but in a very, in a serious way, I want to be convinced. And what motivates you? And I know there's some people who are way over the top, and I get that, but I want to be, because I'm obviously curious about it. And my claustrophobia, like I'm either going to have to, deal with it, or I'm just going to have to, face whatever's coming our way, so to speak. But if you're one of these people who are interested in this, I want to hear from you. Okay? I'm really, really interested in hearing from you. So stand by. We'll take your phone calls in a second. Let me talk to you real quick about this Vivos underground bunker type thing. Let me give you the actual. It's called Vivos Global Shelter Network. They've got a website. It's called terravivos.com. It's TerraVivos.com. terravivos.com. And they've got Vivos X Point. They've got Vivos Indiana, Vivos Europa 1. They have the Vivos Trine Complex, which is just one private bunker that you and your family stay in. It's set up like an apartment. They're not exactly underground, so to speak, but they're fortified above ground units. And they are in an entire area. It's like a little neighborhood. It's got access to the road, so you can drive right in, get your family in, should you have 3 days, if not 3 hours before something happens. The Europa 1, forget about it. It looks like a resort. It looks like one of those, high-end, resorts you pay for when you go to Jamaica or whatever it is. But the one that I found interesting was Vivos, Indiana. And according to this space, it's got stairs that you go down all the way to the bottom. It's got a very group-like bunker feel. They've got a mess hall where everybody eats. They've got a small theater, where there's a television unit and everybody sits out on the comfy chairs. Big giant kitchen. Everything, of course, is electrical. 2 or 3 refrigerators there. Every sleeping unit is kind of a bunk bed facility. They've got medical. Doctors will be down there. They can perform, I don't know about surgeries, but they can definitely take care of you down there. They've got medical gurneys. They've got irrigation as well as hydroponic for growth of, vegetables, as they say. And I was looking at it, and while I'm watching, I'm going, what if somebody runs amok? What if somebody does something criminal? Say, he gets into a fight with another individual and he bullies them. You're always going to get some reprobate, okay? I was going to use the A word, but you know what I mean. You get one guy. So what happens if that guy goes off the rails, he's beating up somebody, abuses someone? Well, it turns out that this place has a detention center as well. Now, I don't know whether or not there's going to be like juries and any of that other stuff. They're going to have like makeshift trials underground. You're going to be there for a while. I thought that was interesting that they had that there. But it looks, I don't know, it looks like you would imagine in the movies. It's almost identical to what you see in the movies. A lot of them people use as vacation spots. They got the one guy who I believe the caller's brother was on the video. He says that there were there's an underground limestone cavern, and it's got all these sections, and people were already there with their campers, their fifth wheels, as they're called. My wife's crazy about these things. The fifth wheels are the ones that you hook up behind your pickup truck, and you drag along. And there were plenty of them inside. The ceiling height was roughly about 7-8 feet high. So it's not, it's not like cathedral level. It's, they're tall, but you feel like you're in a cave because that's where you are. But they have people and they have, the outlets where you can hook up. It's weird. But I'm looking at these. I'm not in any way intrigued. Like, I'm not looking at it going, hey, we should buy one. My wife, on the other hand, very, very excited about this. She's already thinking about signing us up. I'm trying to do everything I can to talk her out of it. I don't want her anywhere near our credit cards or any of that stuff. Let me ask, Roland, before I go to the phones, anything like this you're interested in?
Well, I watched the show Fallout on Prime.
Yes. Okay. Somebody was mentioning that yesterday.
I watched that and Paradise.
Oh, okay,
which
Paradise.
is
Okay.
on, I think is it on?
Is that Netflix?
No.
Hulu.
It's on Paramount.
Oh, on Paramount. Okay.
I believe it could. Well, it could be on. I don't remember where. I'm all juggled with the apps. I watched 29 shows. So.
Way too many.
Yeah,
anyway,
way too many.
So what do you think think this whole concept of being underground?
That's scary. I'm claustrophobic, so
really
that would be very difficult for me.
Now,
and I probably wouldn't. I'm probably not one of the people that would get picked anyway. So
yeah, well, no, but that's the thing about this Vivos thing. You can purchase them.
Well, I can purchase my own.
Yeah, you can purchase your own, but they have different ones that you can purchase. Let me show you what some of them are. The shelters that they have here, according to them, and I'm going to go to one of the details. So the Indiana one, which is the sort of like the group space where everybody is sort of lumped in together, they have a pricing module here that says that the pricing is anywhere to about $19,000 to $50,000. Here's the shelter pricing. Let me go here. So Vivos, Indiana, it houses up to 80 people. Significant discounts available for key skills. If you have key skills, that price, $35,000 per person.
Wow.
The 24, I guess it's up to 24 bunker, the Vivos Point. That is $55,000 per private bunker. But again, this is a one-time cost.
Yeah.
They have the Vivos Europa 1. 500 plus live in these things with suites, private apartments and suites that are available. They don't give the pricing on that. They have to contact them for more information. Mm-hmm. The Vivos Quantum that has 6 to 100 people or hundreds, that is priced anywhere from $195,000 and up. Again, remember, this is the end of the world as we know it. You're paying that $1,000. It's not like you have to keep paying that over and over again.
Okay, this is my question.
Yes.
It is the end of the world.
Yes.
What are they using the money for?
That's a great question. Probably to build more bunkers, I would imagine. But this is your spot. Should that happen, and they'll take that money and they'll build other bunkers because these things are actually being built. These are being built as we speak. They're buying the lands and then they're building them and they're showing the construction. So apparently they're permitted to do this in a crazy way. So I looked at them. I watched the videos. They've been on the Travel Channel and people are serious about this. Let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Simsbury Joe is on the line. What's going on, buddy?
Well, I can tell you exactly who's going to occupy these bunkers.
Yes.
It's going to be the individuals with the largest guns and the most ammunition.
Agreed.
Because your $30,000 or $50,000 a person is going to be meaningless if the SHT whatever it is, you know what I'm trying to say?
Oh yeah.
It's going to be those people who are aware of it being there are going to show up with weaponry. And they're going to make sure that either you don't get in or they do. So I don't think people are really thinking it through.
Right.
But,
so you're considering the one that says, like the Vivos Indiana, that says it's $35,000 per person, significant discounts available for key skills. So you're talking about those guys would probably get a discount if they're the ones with the weaponry.
5 finger.
Well, the thing is, and I'm not interested in buying one because I'm not sure I want to live in a world that is going to only be the survivors of people who came from underground. I'm not sure, what's waiting for me up top.
Right.
But if something happens, I'm not making it from Connecticut to Indiana. No one is.
That's true.
That's just nuts. There's not going to be, okay, here's your warning. Go to the bunkers, please. Be orderly. It doesn't work like that.
Never does.
But I want to talk about bunkers.
Yes.
So this whole thing that's coming out now, I find it very, very interesting that the government is not standing up and screaming that, oh, this is baloney, because for many years we've known all about what's called DUMBs, which are deep underground military bases.
Exactly.
And there have been many, many rumors about what goes on in these DUMBs, some of them extremely, extremely bad as it relates to children. And I just think that when it was Catherine Austin Fitz who came out with this, and she ended up on Tucker Carlson.
Right.
And I just look at it and I say to myself, okay, it's not being denied the same way they don't deny what goes on in the Denver airport underneath the ground there. They're potentially alerting us to something in their own way. But I've got no desire to live underground with a bunch of people, because if something happens that's that severe, it's going to be just like that TV show Fallout, where you have many generations of people living underground. And, to me, that's just no fun.
Yeah, I don't think, like I said, it's almost, I almost feel like underneath the ground for that amount of time, you're always going to get that one person who's going to test the limits of anarchy and order. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And what do you do?
I got a question for you, not related to the tunnels.
Yes, sir.
What do you think Trump's big announcement is going to be that's supposed to be absolutely massive before he goes to the Middle East?
I don't know.
He's got some big announcement he's been teasing.
I heard it this morning, and I'll be honest with you, I can't second guess the guy, so I refuse. Apparently that's supposed to happen today at 4:00 is the announcement. Is that right?
Oh, okay. I hadn't seen anything.
Yeah, it's supposed to happen somewhere in the evening. He always waits until, for some odd reason, at the end of the news cycle, like 4 or 5 o'clock, so that everybody's talking about it the next morning. But yes, it's supposed to happen later on today.
Well, it's going to be very interesting because they've already done away with gain of function research.
Yep.
Which I'm sure there'll be a lot of scientists that'll still mess around with it just so they can kill us all. But it's going to be something big, not related to tariffs, and I'm not sure what it is. But
hey, I will tell you this thing about the DUMBs, the deep underground military base. Did you hear this rumor that there's a tunnel underneath that can get you from New York to California in 30 minutes? Have you heard that story that's associated with this?
Yeah, I've heard that story, but I don't believe it.
Nor do I.
Don't believe the technology doesn't exist for the transportation within that 30 minutes.
Yeah,
however,
exactly.
There are DUMBs all over this country.
Yep.
And people have taken videos in areas where they're not supposed to be of tractor trailers basically driving on a road and then disappearing underground.
Yes, yeah, so, I've seen that exact video.
There's something for sure.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, Joe. Always a pleasure, sir. Welcome back. You got it. Yeah, all of these things are, and for me, it's absolutely incredible, this stuff that I'm seeing now. And again, like I said, the more I find out, the scarier it appears. Let's take Maxwell and Meriden real quick. Hey, Maxwell.
Hey, Reese, how you doing?
Pretty good. What's up?
So I wanted to draw your attention to this documentary. It's called Grid Down, Power Up, and it talks about the very not unlikely possibility of America's power grid going down.
Okay.
So one of the most interesting things about this documentary is that if the America's power grid does go down, 97% of Americans would be estimated to perish, which is a massive number.
That's
and it also lays out a few very interesting scenarios which that could happen, either a geomagnetic storm, physical attack, a hacking attack. Most of our major transformers are made from overseas and could absolutely have some inside switches or hacks that could be exploited against us.
Give me the name of it again, Maxwell. Give me the name of the documentary again.
Grid Down, Power Up.
Okay, thank you.
And there was a physical attack in California where somebody shot at a substation, electrical substation, with an AK-47. We actually brought it down. And there's a solar flare, a massive solar flare in the 19th century that brought down and actually burned the entire telegraph network at the time. And so it's absolutely not out of question that there could be a serious electrical failure, which would lead to a scenario where a lot of Americans could end up underground for whatever reason. So I think the idea of prepping for the doomsday is not that theoretical.
Gotcha. It might be one of like I said, the more and more I find out, the more I'm interested in finding out more. It's incredible. I'm gonna watch that documentary tonight. And I'm going to see if I can actually get some background on this. I might talk about this again. Thank you, Maxwell. I appreciate you, sir. All right, let's take a break. More news, more views when we return. Let's get another check of our weather and traffic with Jason Katarina with weather and Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. Not doomsday prepping anytime soon. Who's going to take his equipment down? Who's going to take all your equipment?
Not at all. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, if you are traveling on the southbound side of I-91, look for delays, 33 down to 32 A and B, and again, 27 down to 28. Northbound 91, easy ride, Cromwell through downtown up in Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, 56 Governor Street to 48 Asylum. 84 eastbound is tight, 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley Bridge. If you're traveling 2 westbound, you got delays 1D up to the 84 West merge. Traveling 9 northbound and 9 southbound, you got delays in Middletown approaching the Aragoni. 9 northbound slows 32 up to exit 34 from Berlin into New Britain. Now, if you are traveling eastbound 84 into Waterbury, slowing by 18. 84 eastbound's tight in Chester, 26 to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84, look for delays from 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound is slowing New York, Connecticut line out to exit 5. And again, from exit 9 in Newtown to 11 in Newtown. Southbound Parkway, some delays from exit 60 into the West Rock Tunnel. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
This traffic report is being brought to you by Stu Leonard's Farm Fresh Foods.
This week for Mother's Day, Stu Leonard's has a huge selection of flowering hanging baskets for only $18 when you buy 2. And 6-pack bedding plants for $22 when you buy 8. Wow, that's hanging baskets, bedding plants, 42 plants. Direct from their local growers, delivered fresh daily.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, variably cloudy. We'll have a shower in spots, but pleasant temps with the high 71. Mainly clear tonight. The low down to 54. On Thursday, mostly cloudy, shower in the afternoon, but a little warmer with the high up to 73. Partly to mostly cloudy Thursday night, couple of showers, the low 52. Cooler Friday with rain around. Now that beneficial rain may come at the risk of some localized flooding, the high of 60. Occasional morning rain Saturday, then breezy and warmer, the high 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Katarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 4:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Man's in the hospital after he was found shot in Hartford this afternoon. Police responded around 1:30 to the area of Capitol Avenue. Victim was unresponsive, taken to the hospital for treatment. Arrests in 2 murder cases in New Haven. Police say they have arrested Edwin Arroyo Roman for the stabbing death of Neisha Mendez in a cemetery on Friday. Additionally, officers today announced the arrest of Oscar Darius in connection with the shooting death of Gregory Perez back in January of 2024. And Elm City detectives are also investigating a double shooting from earlier today. And they say a 43-year-old and a 15-year-old were hit on Chamberlain Avenue. Injuries are said to be non-life-threatening. Black smoke has poured out of the Sistine Chapel chimney, indicating no pope was elected on the first ballot of the conclave to choose a new leader of the Catholic Church. The smoke billowed out at 9 p.m. today, about 4 hours after 133 cardinals solemnly entered the Sistine Chapel, took their oaths of secrecy, and formally opened the centuries-old ritual to elect a successor to the late Pope Francis. Federal Reserve has decided to leave interest rates alone for the time being. President Trump had been calling for a cut in the rates. The Fed, though, wary about potential impacts on inflation due to the president's tariffs. Today's the day travelers need to have that real ID in order to board domestic flights. Even if you don't have one now, a passport or other form of ID is being accepted, although flyers are advised to get to the airport earlier to jump through the additional security hoops. And a man is dead following a motorcycle crash Saturday in Wallingford. Evan Waycott lost control of his bike on Durham Road. He was taken to Yale, New Haven, pronounced dead today. That investigation is ongoing. Dow was up 284 points today. The NASDAQ gained 48, and the S&P was up 24. Red Sox and the Rangers continue their series at Fenway tonight, pregame right after the 6 p.m. news. Yanks, the rubber game of a 3-game series against the Padres at the stadium. The Mets currently in Arizona. Eastern League, Yard Goats split 2 with New Hampshire. Fisher Cats winning the first game 2-1. Yard Goats taking the second 4-2. And NBA second-round playoff action. Knicks try to take a 2-0 lead over the Celtics tonight at TD. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Progressive knows road trips without your pet can be tough.
Hi, this is Next Stop Dog Boarding.
Hi, it's Scott again. How's Squeaks doing? You can tell if he's stressed by his eyebrows. Oh, and his breathing should sound like this.
Scott, Squeaks is exactly the same as last time you called.
Okay, let's talk in 20 to see if anything's changed.
With Progressive, your pet is covered up to $1,000 in vet bills in case of a car accident. So next time, you can take your pet with you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and subject to policy terms.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law.
1 minute.
Timeshare. Don't miss this important announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your information.
Call for your free info kit. 800-384-7878. 800-384-7878. 800-384-7878.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We'll get to the phone calls in a second. We got some veterans on the line, so we'll get to them as soon as we can. But let's do this thing.
Do I look that stupid? Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
We'll also read your comments in the chat room on Doomsday Prepping. I got a great message on X. Stupidest thing I read today. This one, I knew about this a couple of days ago, but I read the whole article today, and now I'm really, really ticked off about it. And that is Mark Zuckerberg has this grand vision they're calling in the Wall Street Journal. Most of your friends will be AI in the future, according to Mark Zuckerberg. And this I've got a problem with, and I know some people have a problem with this as well. Nobody wants fake friends. It's tough enough dealing with fake people. Nobody wants fake friends or people who are artificial, for that matter. One of the biggest problems that I have with having friendships or keeping friendships is because a lot of my old friends are very superficial, boring, and self-involved. And I don't bother with those people. I have maybe this is a guy thing. And guys, if you're in the chat room, if you want to call up and opine about it, that's fine. But I'm under the impression that men of a certain age have a significantly small circle of friends. What I mean by that is maybe 4. Maybe. And 4 I still think is stretching it. I just do. I don't trust guys with a whole lot of friends. You know, like if I see a group of guys who like 5, 6, 7 guys in a group, that never fares well. And how do I know that? Because I was one of those guys who had a large number of friends. We had TJ, Rodney, Jace, Derek, Jamie, David, and myself. That's 7 guys. And it was, again, and when we all got older and we were smart enough to know better, sure enough, those guys parted ways and turned themselves into their own faction of maybe 3 people, like regularly. With the exception of David, who passed away, unfortunately, hit by a train. Long story. Anyway, Jamie, TJ, and myself probably lasted the longest as a friendship was considered. Jason, Derek stayed friends as Rodney did. He was a fly-by-night guy, but he was always moving all over the place. So it turned out of 7 guys, it turned into groups of 3 as we got older. It was unheard of for guys to be in these large groups. So here's, what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg saying that the average person has about 15 friends. 15? I can't keep up with that many stories, sob stories, and lives, and people who were involved in their lives, their girlfriends, their wives, their jobs. 15 people? I haven't had enough time remembering what my wife told me 15 minutes ago. Way too many people. Let's get a check of the weather and traffic. Jason Katarina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Mark, how many friends do you have? Can you count them on one hand, or do you have a slew?
Yeah, 5 or 6, yeah.
Okay,
maybe
5 or
an
6.
extra finger, yeah.
Like, no, when I'm talking about, like, close friends. I know one of your buddies is, like, your lawyer, so that's like you've known him for, what, 30 years?
Yeah.
Okay, so name how many of your friends with that scope of time that you keep close by. It's got to be a good 3 or 4.
Well, one of my friends I met in 2nd grade, so we've had a relationship since like 1971.
Goodness gracious,
Yeah.
Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky, and you know what? He's smart. He's retired now. So
I haven't even kept a marriage that long. Jeez, man, how do you do it?
I'm not going there, Reese.
No, you're not.
You got a good one now, so take care of that. That's all you got to worry about now. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, 91 southbound, you got delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and again 27 to 28. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slows 56 Governor Street up to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound is tied up about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge. Both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound some slow traffic from exit 32 up to exit 35 in New Britain. If you're traveling 84 eastbound a little slow by 18, you'll see some delays again 25A and on 84 east down to the 691 interchange in that would be what's escaping me? Cheshire right now. Traveling into New Haven, not bad. Southbound Parkway slowing from 60 down into the West Rock, and 95 southbound delays 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Oh, I got maybe 2 friends at that. Listen, partly cloudy tonight, the low down to 54. More clouds and sun as we head into our Thursday, but pleasant, a high 75. A couple of showers Thursday night, the low down to 55. Cooler with rain on Friday. Now, that may come with the risk of some localized flooding, especially as the periods of rain and thunderstorms continue Friday night. The high of 60 during the day. Saturday, some morning rain, then cloudy, breezy and warmer, the high 69. Beautiful day for the moms, though. Lots of sun, dry and comfortable, the high up to 77 on Sunday. Right now, 72 Bristol, 69 in Waterbury, 72 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Katarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Well, well, well. If your well isn't producing a ready supply of potable water, Joe the Plumber can help. From well pump installation to repair, we'll make sure everything's working well. Sorry, I didn't write this. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
At Progressive, we're making things easier. We'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Need dental implants? Columbia Dental's prosthodontic experts specialize in placing and restoring implants for a natural, confident smile. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
I'm Kelly Heckel, Vice President of Patient Care Services and Chief Nursing Officer at Middlesex Health. Nurses are caregivers, educators, and advocates. They coordinate care, lead with compassion, and guide their patients with strength and expertise. Nurses change lives in impactful ways. This Nurses Week, we celebrate nurses as the foundation of healthcare. I am exceptionally proud of all of my Middlesex Health Magnet Nursing colleagues. To learn more about the amazing nurses at Middlesex Health, visit middlesexhealth.org/nursing.
Hey, Green Goblin. Got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Trust him Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will.
How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO and off. That's trustandwill.com. Offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Read your comments in a second. Let's go to the phones. I've got George in St. Louis. George, are you one of these doomsday preppers, sir?
No, I'm not, because it's all over anyway. no matter where you're held up.
Even with all of this,
because of that guy.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm calling because of that guy that said we're all going to die if the grid goes down.
Yes, right.
I know something a little about the grid.
That you do.
For one thing, there's enough protection devices out there, overcurrent, undercurrent relays, over voltage and under voltage relays that shut down in nanoseconds. Each span you see up there, the wires that you drive around, the poles and the transmission wires, they're grounded every fourth span. Every fourth span they're grounded. Everything's isolated. Everything's protected right out to the power plants.
So you don't think we have anything to worry about, George?
I read the scenario for Black Startup.
Okay.
The worst case in Black Startup, if everything went down, here's what happens, Reese. They're going to rely on nuclear plants. They're going to bring them up first. That's going to supply the energy to the other power plants. It takes energy to make energy.
Of course.
So, devices and things inside the power plant use electricity. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, and if everything's dead, you have to bring up certain power plants and take that energy and transmit it and bring up startup for other power plants.
Okay, but let's get to the question at hand. Are you remotely, even with that, would you trust one of these sort of doomsday shelters? Would you even consider it? You'd stay above ground.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Suppose we had a nuclear war.
Yes.
A nuclear war. Everything is irradiated. The water, the soil, everything.
Correct.
You're dead anyway in 2 months. You're dead. Another scenario is what Joe talks about all the time, which is our magnetosphere is gone. In other words, the magnetic field that protects us is gone. Well, the microwave radiation from the sun would kill all the plant life. All the plant life is dead. Guess what happens when all the plant life is dead? No oxygen. There's no oxygen. You're dead there anyway.
It's so funny you thought you said that, because these quote unquote underground bunkers that they're talking about, right? They talk about
Hold
on, let me tell you what it says. It says in this whole long video, it talks about the air purification system that is installed underground, and I'm going,
where are they getting that air from?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was running. I was like, in my head, I'm going, wait a minute.
They're taking what supposedly is irradiated air and they're pumping it through underground.
Yeah, a filtration system. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
and the water's polluted from the radiation. So any way you look at it, you're dead. This is why people want to, if they're in the worst case scenario, they want to locate themselves 1 or 2 miles from a blast zone.
Yeah.
They want to go fast.
Thank you, George. Let me read thank you, man. I appreciate it. I want to read what Dr. Way Cooler on X just posted. He says, Reese, the doomsday prepper places are just a scam. Think about it. The end of the world hits. They've already got your money and spent it. all you have to do is build one or two and pretend there are more as you take in the cash. It's the end of the world. No more money. I mean, yeah, I could imagine. Imagine if you had actually given these people $195,000 and they tell you it's 3 days to the end of the world, and you get there and somebody tells you, what doomsday? What doomsday shelter? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I look at this and I go, that's why I said, look, I'm one of those guys that just said, I'm putting my head between my legs and I'm kissing my butt goodbye. Forget about all that. Fulton's in Waterbury. How are you, sir?
I think this is the new global warming. The new global warming.
Oh, nice. Nice.
You know, we gave up on global warming. It was killing whales and stuff. So now we're going to do this, and they're going to tell you this. Like, what stops the $3 bullet from taking the $35,000 guy? You know what I mean? Like, honestly.
I think
if I'm sitting outside the gate, how do they get in? I don't understand.
You know what? This may be sort of a pacifier for the end of the world, right? You get into this
I got something for the end of the world.
Right.
So how? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that a pacifier for the end of the world is, right, you end up in this underground bunker, you think that you're protected from this, and then calamity strikes. As George just said, there is no oxygen purification because it's all radiation. It doesn't work. And you're just underground, which in essence ends up being your tomb. And, you know, you end up dying in there anyway because they run out of oxygen, and you only end up dead underneath the earth.
Sounds like COVID. Put a mask on, right?
Right. So
But I
true.
was going to say, so most people are grossly out of shape. Like, if your car doesn't work, how far can people walk? They cannot. They're like, they can't even get to the refrigerator to get a snack without losing their breath. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Can you walk down a fish? Like, can you clean a fish? Can someone? Are you gonna grow vegetables? Like, if it's the end of the world, it's Little House on the Prairie. I don't know who wants to be around.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, a lot of this just sounds crazy suspect. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm letting everybody else talk about it. Now I'm coming to my senses. I'm going, I don't think anybody can convince me to go into one of these shelters.
Right, you're gonna get from Texas to Indiana. Like, what are you guys gonna walk there? You and your wife holding hands?
Exactly.
I don't know. But here's my question: what's the difference between the MS-13 guys that jumped the cop and the gang, the little gangs that steal cars in Hartford and Waterbury and stuff that are 12 and 13 doing the same thing? They hit a cop and killed him.
Yeah.
Stolen car. Like, what's the difference?
Well, to the people in Connecticut, it's the age. You know, for them, it's like, they didn't know any better, and we can't punish them to the full extent of the law because they're just kids. But I'm like, hey, man, adult things, you do adult time. That's the way I look at it. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Let's go to Fred in Middletown. How are you, sir?
Hey, so nuclear war would be another thing. But there's a bunch of scenarios where if you could get gone, like underground for a month or two, civil war, if not nuclear war, you know, there's all kinds of bleep hitting the fan, and then you could come up after it calmed down. But yeah, that sounds like a scam. Yeah, and there's some people who might be able to survive. I mean, what are they doing the space station for here? I'm thinking, you know, there's by-the-by plans for using the same air for 10 years. Not that that would be what you'd get for your $195K. Yeah, and meanwhile, one of your biggest sponsors, of course, is the guy who gets you out of your timeshare thing, right?
That's a great point. That is a great point, because if I don't want to be a part of this underground bunker, I'm sure all I'll have to do is call him and get me out of my timeshare. You bring up hold on, but Fred, you bring up a good point about the International Space Station. Now, is there a way that you can create oxygen?
Well, I mean, air, I got to believe that just for example, now we find out about this stuff, and we've all been hearing about it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
There's underground something in Middletown that you could drive a car around, like, you know, nuclear.
Like a nuclear fallout shelter? Yeah.
Yeah, like from back in the day, you know, when they didn't think about, well, if we have to come up, or I don't know. But in any event, the technology is so far ahead of what we know about. I got to believe that they got a plan for breathing without taking in outside air. Jesse Kelly spoke of the Hamas tunnels, and he said that he doubted if you could flood those. He said they were probably like flood resistant. You know, he'd seen them, he'd toured them in better times.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I've seen those tunnels in Gaza
Mhm.
that go through there,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
my claustrophobia is way too much for that. I can't.
Oh,
the idea of
same
not
here,
being able
dude.
to stand straight up,
Absolutely.
I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it at all.
Imagine some poor bastard in the Navy and submarine duty. Let me
Yeah!
quote a quote from my favorite human being on earth, Shannon Joy. Quote, just covering all this, the tunnels, the nuclear, quote, only God can fix this, end quote. All right, thank you.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I thought about that too. The submarine. Actually, the wife and I we were in Norfolk, Virginia, and we went to that military museum in Norfolk. I gotta call Roseanne. Can you come here real quick? There was it's in Norfolk, but it's right on the water, and it's a military. What was the name of that military museum that we took pictures of? We walked inside the ship and at Norfolk. What do you remember the name of it? If you can look it up. But we went inside those ships, and they had inside the ship, they had the sleeping quarters, which were just these bunk beds. And, you know, you can actually, some of them, they were cordoned off where you couldn't walk in, but other ones, they would let you sort of lie down on the beds. I'm 6'3", and I couldn't get into one of those things. It was too short. It was like 5 feet tall. Well, okay, the Battleship Wisconsin in Norfolk, Virginia. If you've ever been there, let me know. But yeah, they have this little area you can actually lay in the bunk beds or the little barracks that they had there. And I had to sleep. I had to bend my knees inside the thing because it was like for 4-foot people. I said 5 feet. It's only 4 feet. It was really, really small. And I was like, nope, there's no way I could fit. I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't. Michael B says, I create methane all the time. Go ahead. Sokolowski says that it's not that scary. Nagasaki, Hiroshima, Chernobyl flourishing with plant and animal life. If you dare ask anyone of your callers why, all lies about nuclear deadlines. That is a good point. It is it is beautiful there in a lot of those areas. They seem Chernobyl's still bad though. It's not exactly the example I would use. Chernobyl's still pretty bad. Humans lasted, how many hundreds of thousands of years without power? Many humans would perish if the power grid went down for a long period of time. Definitely, however, humanity would go on. Yeah, a lot of people, I know that there are some people who could not resort to what would be considered 18th century lifestyle. Other people would be all thumbs in that atmosphere. That was unapologetic Eric in the chat room talking about that. If you're still walking from 85th, and I think I'm misunderstanding exactly what that is. So I don't know exactly whether or not you would be able to be underground for long periods of time without suffering from cabin fever or hysteria, claustrophobia. I don't know. It seems weird enough. Before we go to break, I'll take Michael in Higganum, which I always pronounce poorly. How are you, Michael?
Good. How you doing, Reese?
Pretty good, sir.
As far as this whole conversation, I've been to Hiroshima.
Okay.
About a couple of years ago. My wife works for Pratt & Whitney.
Okay.
And she'd have to go to Japan often. Hiroshima is one of the most beautiful cities on the planet. So I'm not falling for this whole thing of you get wiped out.
Because, we're talking, 70 years post, right? We're looking at 70, 80 years now.
It's absolutely a beautiful city, wonderful people. Yeah, it's incredible.
So you're saying that should there be nuclear fallout, you're saying in one of these shelters, it wouldn't last all that long before, if in other words, if they had a significant supply of oxygen underneath the ground, give it a considerable amount of time, and people would be able to come back up to come above ground and flourish after the fact.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful, again, one of the most, I've been to London, I've been to Canada. This was easily the most beautiful place I've ever been.
I've heard that before, and a lot of people are saying that in the chat room. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you, sir. Thanks for the call. All right, when we come back, more news, more views. We'll talk about this. I'll see if there's any updates to the James O'Keefe story. There doesn't appear to be any as of yet, but we'll keep checking. Let's get another check of your weather and traffic with Jason Caterina, who's got two friends. Applaud that man. And Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center, who has, 43, 98 friends? What is it?
No, I only got 5 or 6. Yeah, that's all I need. That's enough. Hey, if you're heading into downtown Hartford right now, southbound 91, look for some slow traffic from 44 down to exit 42 with the road work going on there on the Dexter Coffin Bridge. So look for the 2 left lanes to be shut down there, left and left center, so stay to the right there. After that, you're going to see some slow traffic, 33 down to 32 A and B, and again, 27 down to 28. More slow traffic as you move 19 down to 17 in Meriden. Looks good northbound 91, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tight at 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you've got slow traffic now from about a half mile before 46th Avenue down to the Bulkley Bridge. 291 eastbound's tied up from I-91 over to exit 5 in Manchester. Looks like there's an accident there, so look out for that. If you're traveling on the westbound side of Route 2, a little slow, 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 9 northbound, 9 southbound, tight approaching the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 9 northbound, slowing again, 32 up to 36 in New Britain. 84 westbound, Waterbury, tight 22 into the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, Cheshire, running slow, 26 down into the 691 interchange. 95 South New Haven slows 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, variably cloudy. Watch for a shower in spots. The high is 71. Mainly clear tonight. The low only down to 54. Thursday, mostly cloudy. We'll have a shower in the afternoon. A little milder, though, with the high up to 73. Partly to mostly cloudy Thursday night. Couple of showers. Then a cooler day Friday with some rain, so definitely take your umbrella. Now, that rain may come at the risk of some localized flooding. The high of 60. Saturday, occasional morning rain. Otherwise, mostly cloudy, breezy and warmer. The high 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. A shooting on Capitol Avenue in Hartford today is now a homicide. Police say around 1:30 they got the call for shots fired from a citizen. Man in his 20s found unresponsive, brought to the hospital where he died. There's no word yet on any suspects or a motive. A man is in custody in New Haven, charged in the stabbing death of a woman whose body was found in a city cemetery last Friday. Under arrest is 55-year-old Edwin Arroyo Roman. Police say he was in a relationship with 35-year-old Naisha Mendez. She was found in Evergreen Cemetery. This is Police Chief Carl Jacobson.
After confessing to the homicide, Mr. Roman has been charged with murder, tampering with evidence. He was arraigned on, and his bond of $3 million was kept.
In addition, Jacobson says they made an arrest in a January 2024 homicide. 29-year-old Oscar Darius now charged in the shooting death of Gregory Perez. Also, Elm City detectives investigating a double shooting. This happened this afternoon on Chamberlain Street. 43-year-old man hit in the leg, 15-year-old in the backside. They say the injuries to both are considered non-life-threatening. It's not advised, but you can still board a flight in the U.S. with regular government ID. But today was deadline day for Real ID. That's a license or ID with new security features. Federal officials say most travelers got the message in plenty of time. WTIC's Dave Mager reports from Bradley Airport.
A big thumbs up from the TSA on deadline day for Real ID.
All across the country, there's been no issues whatsoever concerning Real ID.
TSA New England spokesperson Dan Velez says an overwhelming majority of flyers on day one were proactive, getting their Real IDs in time. Some years ago if they're like Rachel from North Carolina.
Back when I had to renew my license a couple of years ago, I decided to do it at that time. So I was under no pressure to rush to get it now. But I also travel with my passport, just in case.
A worker at the Delta ticketing desk tells me there are a lot of travelers like Rachel traveling with extra, usually unnecessary documents. A passport will cover you if you don't have real ID. At Bradley Airport, Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
On the first day of the papal conclave to select a successor to the late Pope Francis, the black smoke emanating from the Sistine Chapel indicated there'd be no selection on the first ballot today. Correspondent Sabrina Castelfranco is in Rome.
It's very, very difficult to predict, particularly in this kind of a conclave where there are 133 cardinal electors. All these cardinals come from many, many different countries around the globe. Some of them had never met before this conclave, and so they are really trying to get to know each other and trying to understand in which direction they should now take the church.
3 former Memphis police officers have been acquitted of state charges in the fatal beating of Tyree Nichols after he fled a traffic stop in 2023.
The brutal beating of 29-year-old Tyree Nichols was caught on a police camera as 5 officers dragged him out of his car, punched, kicked, and hit him with a police baton while he screamed for his mother's steps from his home. It led to nationwide protest. A jury took 8.5 hours to find 3 of the officers not guilty on all charges. 2 other officers pleaded guilty to both state and federal charges. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
On Wall Street, the Dow up 284 points today. The Nasdaq gained 48, and the S&P was up 24. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
At Ayala Home Services, we handle well water problems a year. We believe hearing your options to get water flowing in your house shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free estimates for wells with no water. Plus, get your water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted well professionals at ALO Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768, D1040145, E1185643, S330869, HIC 628926, SM30044646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Eat it up, the Hartford Yard Goats, eat it up.
Yard Goats baseball is back Tuesday, May 13th, and we face the Mets affiliate. Tuesday, we've got a kids' jersey giveaway. Wednesday, it's Harry Potter night with a special hat giveaway. Thursday is Mental Health Awareness Night. Friday, we've got great food and drink specials. Saturday, we've got post-game fireworks. And Sunday, kids run the bases after the game. Get your tickets now before they're gone at yardgoatsbaseball.com.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, plenty of news and plenty of views this hour. We'll talk about a whole bunch of stuff. Like I said, James O'Keefe hasn't released his videos. I have no faith in it. It was supposed to be out 2 hours ago. We still got nothing. I don't know what's going on with all of that, but nothing is out as of yet, so we will wait. Also, I want to talk a little bit more about our conversation about the Vivos Global Shelter Network, these doomsday preppers, and a little bit about this story that was in the New York Post about the underground shelters that were built at the tune of $21 trillion that are underground. And just if anybody has any info about that, anything you want to talk about related to that, please give me a call. I want to hear from you, 860-522-WTIC. Also in this hour, last but not least, caller of the day at the end of the show will get a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. If you missed the opening monologue, I was talking about Miguel Cardona's article saying the parents deserve choices, but not at the public school expense. Make sure you go to resettradio.com if you want to catch the opening of the show. Last but not least, a little bit of housekeeping. So here's the deal. So there used to be a program that we had that would broadcast the show on the website, but apparently they don't do that anymore. So now if you want to watch the show, if you want to go to resettradio.com to find out where the show is, if you're looking on Facebook, you're saying, hey, well, I can't find you on Facebook anymore. There's a reason for that. We fixed it, but the only way you can do it is by going to resettradio.com. So here's what you do. Go to resettradio.com. You can go to Facebook or you can go to X. Click on one of those right there. You'll see it on the social media portion of the website. Click on one of those, and you can get the show live if you want to watch it live and you want to comment in the chat room. That is how you get on there. So go directly there. It is on the Reese on the Radio page as opposed to my personal page, which many of you are friends with. But go to resettradio.com, click on Facebook. That will send you to the Reese on the Radio show page, because there's a separate one. You go there, click on it, become a follower, friend it, whatever it is you do, and that's where you catch the show from now on. And on X, same deal. Click on X, and you will also find the show there if you want to opine live. And you don't have to do it all the time. You do it whenever you want at your leisure. Plus, ReeseOnTheRadio.com will have this show airing live there so you can watch it, and it will be there until tomorrow's show, where you will then see it live again. Okay? That's how you do it. ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Now, let's check some weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. And Mark does not have a website yet. I guess, do you even do stuff like that on social media? I mean, I know you're on social media, but you don't like DJ and like advertise online or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. I don't do a very good job with it. In fact, I got to.
You're like me, like the old antiquated sort of internet stuff, right?
It's not even formatted to a phone yet. And now I just don't have time. I keep telling him, I'm gonna get you the new stuff, and it never gets done. So
I hear
eventually it will. Eventually it will.
I'm with you, man. It's you know what I mean? When it's too complicated for us old guys to do it, we just forego it. We're just like, never mind. This is for the kids.
It's really not. I don't even do the hard. I just have to update all the info and get some new pictures and stuff. And I
wonder if Jason Caterina has a website. He's a good-looking guy. He should be like modeling.
Oh yeah. Well, pretty boys like him should have a website. Guys like me. Guys like me, I don't know. You don't want to see my face. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, this traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. And let's start off 291 eastbound. Looks like we have a crash up by exit 5 in Manchester. That's got you backed up all the way to I-91 behind that. So might want to avoid 291 right now. That's a lengthy delay. Southbound 91 delays 33 to 32. Again, 27 down to 28. Northbound 91 moving while Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you're locked about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 2 westbound slowing East Hartford. 1D up to the 84 West merge. Both sides of 9 heavy approaching the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. If you're heading in toward Waterbury right now, you're on the eastbound side of 84. Some slow traffic, 25A down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 slows 23 to the Mixmaster. And if you're heading down in toward New Haven, the southbound side of I-91 delays from exit 6 down in toward the 95 interchange. Traffic got you down. Turn that frown upside down at Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. They offer fast, efficient dental implant procedures completed in a single visit. Open 7 days a week for your convenience. Don't wait. Visit ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Pretty boy. Wow. I guess I should be flattered. No, I don't have a website. Partly cloudy tonight for us. Been a beautiful day. The low down to 54 tonight. More clouds and sun. Another nice day tomorrow. You know, it's still going to be 75 for us, even with the more clouds and sun. We'll get a couple showers Thursday night. The low down to 55. Cooler with rain as we head into Friday. Now, that rain comes at the risk of some localized flooding as it continues into Friday night with a thunderstorm, too. So the high during the day of 60 on Friday, then some occasional morning rain Saturday, mostly cloudy, breezy, and warmer the rest of the day, though. The high up to 69. Great day for the moms on Sunday. Pleasant, warmer, lots of sun. The high up to 77. Currently, it is 70 in Mansfield, 72 in New Haven, 68 in Waterbury, and it's 71 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
We have something to buzz about. Call the Bee. Connecticut trusted HVAC plumbing and drain professionals now offer electrical service. Call the Bee is ready to keep your home powered up. Visit callthebee.com. That's calltheletter.b.com to schedule a speedy electrical service today.
Brian Shackman here for Brian & Company and WTIC News Talk 1080. On Thursday's show, we'll have a follow-up to that incredible showing of people who support homeschooling here in Connecticut. It's a hot-button issue right now. We'll have homeschoolers themselves on the show to talk about the experience and what they do or don't need from the state of Connecticut. All your news, weather, and traffic. And don't forget to plan for Friday darting across Connecticut at Cafe Laurel in Killingworth.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts about the latest medical news and call in with your questions. Healthy Rounds, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, where our erectile dysfunction treatments are shown to be effective in well over 90% of cases. Here is one of our patients, Bill, sharing his experience on our ED treatments.
My name's Bill, and I'm a patient at Northeast Men's Health. I suffered with ED for a couple of years, and I wasn't satisfied with my intimate life with my wife. If you have a problem, find a solution. If you have ED, seek out Northeast Men's Health. Go there. You've got nothing to lose. I am having good sex, but it's not just about the sex. Colors are brighter. My mood was brighter. I had more passion for everything in my life, not just sex, everything. I'm going to Northeast Men's Health. Go there, give it a try, meet the people there. They'll take care of you.
Thanks, Bill. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. For just $99, you'll get a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call today, 800-930-5956, or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like every mom has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Reese on the radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it. All right, we are back. Did you guys see this video? I've got to play it for you. It just shows you exactly how bad it has gotten over at MSBET. I forgot they have music now.
You talk too much.
Oh, that's wrong. There we go. MSBET. We got the news. If you haven't seen it, this is them. You can hear them. This is Simone Sanders and former RNC chair Michael Steele after they, I guess, did their show on MSNBC. And, of course, they are dancing around excited after finishing their job and then celebrating the fact that they're going to go out and drink and eat. Here are these sloppy mofos leaving the studio.
Back outside. We finished.
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I need a drink. I need a drink. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. And we gonna eat. We gonna drink. We gonna party. We gonna eat. We gonna drink. And we gonna be back tomorrow.
Meanwhile, in the back, they're like working.
It's just so disgusting. And, of course, their white counterparts are a good 30, 40 feet behind them saying, look at these fools. While they're dancing in the hallways, shucking and jiving. It's absolutely insulting. These are supposed to be serious news people. That's supposed to be the so-called former head of the RNC, and he's dancing in the hallways. We're going to eat. We're going to drink. We're going to eat. We're going to drink. Some people should be ashamed of themselves. Now I understand the whole black fatigue thing. I just do. It's embarrassing to watch. It is. That's why I make fun of them. MSBET. We got the news.
You talk too much.
Just be professional. Just be professional. That's all. Just be professional. Stop looking like a bunch of fools. Shinning and grinning. Sloppy. Break out the Hennessy, Michael. By the way, just so I can tell you, when I was drinking, I used to say this thing It was one of my favorite jokes that I would tell. And it was like, hey, well, what's your drink of choice? And I was like, well, I probably, I'll drink beer. Like I'm a Yingling guy. I did Budweiser for a long time, but I my last drinks, as far as beer was concerned, I did Yingling a lot or Sam Adams. I was a lager guy. So I love that. I love that kind of beer. It was like sort of like a brown ale. That was my thing. But if it was hard liquor, it was either Jameson's, maybe a Dewar's, Scotch or whiskey was my other drink of choice. And it was like, yeah, that's it. And I was like, yeah, but I don't believe in drinking any liquor that ended in A. And guys would look at me and say, what liquor ends in A? I was like, Hennessy, Alizé, Tanqueray. I never had any of that stuff. Any liquor that ends in A. I didn't touch any of that stuff. 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Barbara in Glastonbury. Hello, Barbara.
Hi. You were talking about the Nautilus. I'm sorry, not the Nautilus. The submarine you went to with Roseanne in Virginia, in Norfolk?
In Norfolk, it's the Wisconsin?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so. But anyway, what I was calling about was there's one in Connecticut, the Nautilus in Groton. That is a wonderful place. It was opened in 1986. We took our son there years ago. We've taken our two grandsons there. And a really quick, funny story.
Yes.
The first time we went with our older grandson, Electric Boat and the Nautilus have two very close entrances. We took the wrong entrance. We went into Electric Boat. We had police coming out with machine guns pointing it at us.
Wow.
And we said, I'm sorry, we're just going to the Nautilus. And so they said, oh, no, you have to turn around. This is Electric Boat. I said, okay. So, or it was actually the Coast Guard base, whichever. So we had to turn around and we had to be escorted out.
Oh, wow.
So we leave there and we are laughing hysterically. We are saying, can you believe it? They thought these two old folks coming with their grandson, what are we going to do?
Take over the
Take
over the ship, right?
Our grandson in the back seat, he is not laughing. He says, I don't think this is very funny. All of a sudden we thought, my God, he saw those machine guns. He's right. So we got home. We told this to our son. And Tom goes, Mom, we've been there before. There's two distinct entrances. I know, but they're so close and the signs were together. We took the wrong one. So he said, I can't believe that. So our grandson wanted to go the following week. So our son took him.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what happened to him?
No, he
said,
did
Mom,
not.
I
He
have
wouldn't.
to apologize. He said, I did the same thing you did. And Tucker was not amused.
Poor boy.
So
that poor young man went through two traumatic.
Yeah, but we were vindicated. We were vindicated after he mocked us. Oh, Mom, So that's all I wanted to say.
No,
It was a funny
that's
story,
beautiful. I was
and,
actually in Groton. I was in town in Groton and didn't have enough time to go check it out because I'm fascinated at people who live within those closed quarters. It takes a certain type of person to do that.
Oh, I know. And you have, it seems like maybe 18 inches between, where you're lying and the top of the bunk ahead of you. They're like lined up about 5 or 6. It's really scary.
Yeah,
but
it
to
is.
be underwater. Yeah.
Exactly.
And Mamie Eisenhower was the one who commissioned that.
Yeah, that's it. It's a fascinating life. Even if you've never gone through wartime, just being there and experiencing that, always on edge, and sometimes you're in hostile water, and it's fascinating. Yeah. But thank you so much for that story.
Funny thing to say, just one other funny thing to say. I grew up because I'm 76. Oh, 77 now. Sorry, forgot my birthday. I grew up with my father telling me stories of World War II, and he never saw action, so his stories were actually funny.
Yeah, I can imagine. Thank you so much, Barbara. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
you got
okay. Love your show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Bye bye. Yeah, like I said, I'm fascinated at people who can. I would go stir crazy. I would go stir crazy in that condition. And people, I think I know my father-in-law was in the Navy, but I know he was on warships. He was on above ground or above water. In his case, so I would never even think of being in just those close quarters alone. I just couldn't do it in my head. I just can't possibly do it. Let's take Bert. Hello, Bert. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Norwich, Connecticut. I used to be on submarines.
Please, I'm dying to hear this. What was now? Does it take a certain capacity of a person to be inside of a submarine for extended periods of time? Or did you ever go stir crazy?
Not really, because you keep busy enough where your mind's really not on it. I think the people that shouldn't be on there probably are people who have claustrophobia or something like that. But that's the old submarines. But I just wanted to correct that very nice lady who went to the wrong place. The Nautilus is right next to the submarine base.
Oh, okay.
And if she snuck on the submarine base, then there were probably Marines out there with machine guns, and I can see that. So.
Oh, okay. So that's probably who accosted her when she did. Well, now I want to go back to this thing about being in the submarine, because you said that you wouldn't recommend it for someone who is claustrophobic. What is the longest period of time that you were inside of a submarine? Was it like 6 months, 3 months? What was your extended experience?
Well, I was on a boat called USS Towabe for a long time ago, and old submariners can identify with that. Probably a month.
A month. Now, did you ever have someone on your crew that kind of
had to be taken off?
Yeah, for lack of a better term. Like I was going to say, go stir crazy, kind of lose it. Did you ever experience that?
Yes, we did, and it's very inconvenient for the submarine and our duty, because then they have to send a tugboat out to pick the guy up.
Wow. Does he get Section 8? Does he get a Section 8 if something like that happens?
I just don't think he comes back on submarine. It's not a good thing for being clandestine, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, totally.
The other alternative is put him in the freezer,
Real? No.
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just trying to understand, because I would assume, and someone who's enlisted, who's never been on a submarine before, ends up on a submarine. This is the first time they're experiencing it, and all of a sudden they find out right there, live action. Holy crap! I'm not suited for this, and he completely goes, off the reservation. He's, trying to compose himself, but he just can't seem to do it. I can imagine that could be. Like, shouldn't you be prepared for that?
Plus, the boats today are bigger today.
Right.
I mean, they're a lot bigger. I was on a boat that was sort of similar to the Nautilus. Have you ever seen Das Boot?
Yeah, sure. Das Boot. Yeah, sure.
Well, there was a scene in it where there was cabbage in the overhead, and it was dripping. And on my boat, it was very similar to Das Boot. I looked up in the overhead, and there was a head of lettuce. It wasn't dripping, but I went, "Oh my goodness,"
Yeah, I can totally imagine that. Like I said, every day my brain would be putting me in a position to say, "What if?" And I probably wouldn't be able to recover for that. My imagination would run wild in that scenario. It does it often.
But it was the greatest experience of my life. I'm glad I did it. I wish every young man should experience at least 1 or 2 years in the military. I think it'd be very good.
You know what? Every person who's ever served, my wife included, says that. It's why every kid she ever meets, she encourages them to enlist. Every one of them.
Yeah, it's good discipline. It gives you perspective, and you learn a lot about life. I did.
I hear you. Thank you so much, Bert. Much appreciated on the call. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We got plenty of news and plenty of views to get into before we wrap this up. Don't forget, you can win the opportunity to get a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. Call us up at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. You'll return in a bit to wrap this puppy up and do it all over again tomorrow. Here's Jason Caterina with weather and Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading 291 eastbound right now, very heavy delays, Windsor into Manchester. Looks like an accident in the area of exit 5 on 291 eastbound, so you've got delays back to I-91 behind that. Southbound 91's a little slow, approaching 35, trying to transition to 291 east. Again, delays 33 down to 32 A and B, and more slow traffic 27 down to 28. On the northbound side of 91, that moves well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up just after 56. Out to 47 Sigourney Street, 84 eastbound, delays 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 2 westbound's a little tight, 1D up to the 84 west merge. If you're heading into Middletown, 9 northbound's a little slow, Harbor Park up toward the Aragoni Bridge. If you're heading into Waterbury, 84 eastbound slowing by 18, again some slow traffic, 84 eastbound, 26 down to the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 in Waterbury slowing 25A up to the Mixmaster. And northbound Parkway, some slow traffic up as you approach 59 into the West Rock Tunnel. Southbound Parkway slows as you move toward the West Rock, and 95 South New Haven tied up 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
This traffic report is being brought to you by Stu Leonard's Farm Fresh Foods.
This week for Mother's Day, Stu Leonard's has a huge selection of flowering hanging baskets for only $18 when you buy 2, and 6-pack bedding plants for $22 when you buy 8. Wow, that's hanging baskets, bedding plants, 42 plants. Direct from their local growers, delivered fresh daily.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, variably cloudy. We'll have a shower in spots, but pleasant temps with the high 71. Mainly clear tonight. The low down to 54. On Thursday, mostly cloudy, shower in the afternoon, but a little warmer with the high up to 73. Partly to mostly cloudy Thursday night, couple of showers to low 52. Cooler Friday with rain around. Now that beneficial rain may come at the risk of some localized flooding, the high of 60. Occasional morning rain Saturday, then breezy and warmer, the high 69. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30, Hartford temperature 71 degrees. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. A man is dead following an afternoon shooting in Hartford. Police say they received a citizen report of shots fired at an area of Capitol Avenue this afternoon. The victim taken to a nearby hospital, but pronounced dead a short time later. An arrest has been made in a homicide in New Haven. Detectives say Edwin Arroyo Roman of New Haven, charged in the stabbing death of 35-year-old Neisha Mendez. Her body was found at Evergreen Cemetery last Friday. He's being held on a $3 million bond. Police in the Elm City also arrest a suspect in a fatal shooting from last year. Oscar Darius is charged in the January 2024 shooting death of Gregory Perez Sr. And also in New Haven, police investigating an afternoon double shooting there. Officers say a 43-year-old man was struck in the leg, a 15-year-old hit in the buttocks at Chamberlain Street. That investigation is ongoing. Black smoke from a chimney at the Sistine Chapel meant no pope selected today. Cardinals from around the world processed to and were sequestered in the chapel to begin the process of selecting the successor to the late Pope Francis. Man died following a motorcycle crash in Wallingford. He'd been in the hospital since the incident on Saturday. Identified as Evan Wycott, they say he was traveling on Durham Road when the bike crashed. He was pronounced dead earlier today at Yale, New Haven. Most airports around the U.S. operated smoothly as new real ID requirements took effect because travelers without the updated document were still allowed to move through security easily. Those without the IDs were given flyers informing them that going forward they would need to present real ID or other acceptable form of identification for their next flight, or they may expect delays. Wall Street markets finished up today. The Dow ahead 284 points. NASDAQ up 48. S&P up 24 on the heels of the Federal Reserve announcing they would keep interest rates where they are for the time being. Sports baseball tonight. The Red Sox game 2 of their 3-game series with the Rangers at Fenway. We'll go to the pregame right after the 6 p.m. news here. Yanks and the Padres, the rubber game of their 3-game set at the stadium. The Mets are in Arizona. Eastern League, the Yard Goats split 2 with New Hampshire. Fisher Cats win the first game 2-1. Yard Goats come back to take game 2 4-2. And speaking of game 2s, it's game 2 of the NBA Eastern Conference semifinal. The Knicks and the Celtics, New York, up in the series 1-0. 7 o'clock tip-off from TD. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, it's Tom Shattuck. My friend Phil has just finished month 3. That's 12 weeks of Awaken 180 weight loss. Phil, what do we got?
This week I'm down 3.2 pounds, which gives me a total loss, drum roll please, of 63.0 pounds. So things are going great. I had a nice chat with the coach. She asked how I was feeling any different. And I said, come to think of it, I'm just feeling so much more energized. I get up in the morning and I'm feeling good. The real test for me is the nice weather. I'm out there doing yard work. I can now go a good 2.5 hours without feeling exhausted. Whereas just, at the end of last summer, gosh, about a half hour in, I was just totally spent. I give all the credit to Awaken 180. Fantastic program.
Phil is a great friend and a great success story, averaging a little more than 5 pounds per week with Awaken 180 weight loss. You can do the same. Make your consultation today at 844-346-1800 or get them online at awaken180weightloss.com.
More these days, gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation absolutely free.
Call 800-921-5252. 800-921-5252. That's 800-921-5252.
Hey, I'm not one to brag, but it's our birthday, 100 years. I'm sure you've heard, and I'm sure the present that you have for us is incredible, right?
Yeah, we're back. It's Reese on Radio News Talk 1080 WTIC. So James O'Keefe did finally just release the first tape. Let me just give you what the headline reads. World exclusive, Prince Andrew was blanking underage girls. Tape of royal family advisor exposes Prince Andrew's relations with minors and deep ties with Jeffrey Epstein. So apparently this advisor, this royal family advisor, is being videotaped, and he's talking to other people and casually discussing Prince Andrew's involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. This is the first of the videos to be released. It is on James O'Keefe's Twitter feed, which is, of course, I think it's James O'Keefe 3 or 3rd on X. I will disseminate it. Like I said, he just brought out. The video is roughly about 6 minutes, 31 seconds long in that. But the audio is a little, it sucks for radio when you have to try to play that audio. It never ever comes over or conveys very well on radio. But it is there. We will do what we can to at least make sure that it can be heard tomorrow, or if any other tape is released. I doubt that there's going to be any more. I think James O'Keefe is probably stretching this out day to day, but this is the first. And again, this particular individual, again, is a royal family advisor, and his name is John Bryan. And yeah, and apparently he is talking to one of James O'Keefe's journalists undercover at the time, and they're just having a conversation at dinner. So I guess this is going to get far worse. And it appears that the teaser that was put out that suggested it was going to be about the Epstein files and the Epstein names was going to, that was exactly what it was. So, again, we'll check into that. I'll watch the video again during the commercial break, see what it is I can get from it or glean from it. So, of course, I can report to you. If you'd like to check it out yourself, please do. You can find it online now. how this relates to Pam Bondi, I can only suspect because of these videos that have been coming out. Let me see if I could. This was Pam Bondi yesterday, I think, talking about a report that there were hundreds of files that were missing.
No, the FBI, the FBI, they're reviewing, there are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn. And there are hundreds of victims. And no one victim will ever get released. It's just the volume, and that's what they're going through right now.
So that's what she's saying. There's just a volume. There is no delay. It's just a lot of people that they're trying to protect, according to Pam Bondi. Like I said, we'll report, and you'll have the information in your hands. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic, as we do at this time. Jason Caterina has your weather, and Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now and you're on the southbound side of 91, you got delays from exit approaching 35 down to 32 A and B. Again, delays 27 down to 28. Looks good. 91 northbound, Cromwell up into Windsor. 291 eastbound. Looks like that accident out by exit 5 in Manchester's clear, but we're still seeing heavy delays. I-91 over to exit 4 in South Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up now, approaching the Bulkley Bridge in East Hartford out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound locked up from 44 Prospect Oakwood down into the tunnel. 2 westbound delays East Hartford from 1D up to the 84 West merge. If you're traveling 3 northbound, look for delays from the Putnam Bridge in Glastonbury up to exit 13B and C, the Route 2 ramps in Glastonbury. If you're heading into Middletown, 9 northbound, 9 southbound, slowing at the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound, Waterbury tight by 18. Again, some slow traffic down by the 691 interchange. Westbound 84 slows as you approach the Mixmaster in Waterbury. Southbound Parkway, look for delays 60 into the West Rock, and 95 South New Haven slowing from exit 48 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
As we head through tonight, partly cloudy, the low down to 54. More clouds and sun for Thursday, but still warm with the high 75. Friday, cooler with rain, the high of 60. Occasional morning rain Saturday, breezy and warmer, the high of 69. Then Sunday, pleasant and warmer with lots of sun for the moms. A great Mother's Day with the high of 77. Currently, it is 70 in Mansfield, 65 in New London, and 71 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
We promise fast, friendly, reliable service. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
ProHealth Physicians has proudly been keeping Connecticut healthy for nearly 25 years. ProHealth accepts Husky Medicaid, Medicare, TRICARE, and most major insurances. For trusted local care for your whole family, call 1-855-CT-MD-411 or visit ProHealthMD.com.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about your thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
Don't let a root canal scare you. Columbia Dental's endodontic experts provide gentle and effective root canal therapy. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Father's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for dads and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything from online to hybrid courses and lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education fast and affordable. Apply now
Yes,
and
sir.
save with no application fee. Classes start May 14th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah, so I've sat back and I started watching this video, and I'll get to your phone calls in a second. Pick up the phone, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. So after getting an opportunity to sit through this video, a little bit more of it, let's talk about it real quick. John Bryan, who they're calling Prince Andrew's crisis advisor and an advisor to the British royal family, this guy is no fly-by-night guy. And there's documented evidence of this, and just shows you how crazy this story is. And as James O'Keefe has described, this is probably the biggest get of his career. I didn't know who this guy was because I don't follow the royal palace or the royal family in any way. So let me set this up. John Bryan, the reason why he's so close to Prince Andrew, works like this. He used to work for Queen Elizabeth. In working for Queen Elizabeth, he became very close to Princess Diana. As he puts it, he and Princess Diana were good friends, if not best friends, he describes in the video. This then parlayed into a relationship with none other than Sarah Ferguson. Sarah Ferguson, the ex-wife of Prince Andrew. Yeah. He began a long relationship with Sarah Ferguson, publicly known, where he raised Sarah Ferguson's 2 children, Prince Andrew's 2 children. And when Prince Andrew got into the sort of situation where allegations started to come out about his relationship to Jeffrey Epstein, and I think her name is Guthrie, the young lady who they say now committed suicide.
Be right back.
This guy, John Bryan, was called in as a consultant to Prince Andrew. And he says in a video that he went out and did an interview with the UK Daily Mail saying that this wasn't true and none of it happens. But he says in a video talking to this undercover agent that he was lied to and that Prince Andrew definitely was sleeping with underage girls on Epstein's Island. That's why it is so significant. That's why the story is so huge. Because in essence, it's the first confirmation from somebody who is that close to the family to confirm that the allegations against Prince Andrew are true. So as this goes on, I'm pretty sure, I mean, the argument is whether or not there are going to be criminal charges that stem from this. James O'Keefe is suggesting that if something doesn't come of it, heads should roll. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. 860-522-WTIC is the telephone number. White Mike calling all the way from Florida.
Hey, man. So, buddy, I have my new favorite news story of the day.
Fine. What is it? Please tell me it's the 12-foot. Is it the 12-foot statue of the plus-size woman in Manhattan?
No.
Okay.
So I got home and opened up Facebook, and NBC News has a story about. Remember, I don't know if you covered it today or not. Remember the case of Tyree Nichols in Memphis?
Yes, very. In fact, I was going to cover it tomorrow because I'm still laying this out. So if I'm right, all 5 police officers were acquitted.
Well, let me read you the best, most liberal headline I've ever read, okay?
Gotcha.
As from NBC News, it says, Memphis police officers found not guilty of all state charges in Tyree Nichols' beating death. Defendants Kadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith were accused of fatally beating the 29-year-old capital B black man on January 7th, 2023.
Yes.
They're all black. All of them.
Yes, they are.
There's not a cracker in the bunch. But they had to specify that the victim was black, as if saying the names Tadarius and Demetrius didn't tell me the cops were also black.
We watched the video. It was a national news story. In fact, we heard, we heard commentators like Michael Eric Dyson go on MSNBC and say that black people could be white supremacists too because of this case.
Buddy, look, dude, I'm normally very pro-police, and I'm okay with cops throwing a corrective beating, but those dudes beat him to death, and they were wrong.
Yeah.
Like, they held him, two of them held him, one of them beat his ass, and they let him off. So I want to know who was on the jury. Was
Memphis.
this the jury of, it's Memphis, so it's clear there's some black people on the jury.
Clearly.
So are these black people that didn't want to send black cops to jail?
Exactly.
Or were there some, like, Memphis racists who were like, no big loss here. Good job, officer.
No. I'm telling you, this town, look, you're right in my wheelhouse on this Memphis thing. That town, which used to be my favorite city in the country, Memphis, and again, notwithstanding, it was probably back in the 90s when it was, but that thing has turned into such a hole, if you will, that it is unrecognizable today. Unrecognizable.
So they let these black cops who legit beat that dude to death.
Yeah.
And probably because he was banging one of the cops' ex-girlfriends.
According to reports, that's correct. Worked at FedEx.
These dudes got off for beating a black dude to death.
Again.
And now the question is, are they going to riot? Are
No,
they going to riot against the black cops?
I haven't even heard from my blacktivists who listen to this show. They haven't even mentioned it. There's been no story.
Look, again,
Nobody even cares.
For me to say they were out of line, they were out of line because I think cops should hit people more often. But they beat that dude to death.
No, and again, it was all on dash cam video.
On video, like when I watch it and go, ugh, then you know it's bad. If they let those dudes off, man, I don't know what to think. That messes up the whole narrative.
It was. I'm telling you, as soon as I saw it, when I heard it at the top of the hour, John Silver had talked about it, and I had to double check it. I was like, did John Silver just say that they were acquitted? And I know that two officers are facing federal charges, and they're probably going to be civil rights violations, which again is going to be
civil rights charges.
Yeah,
of course. Which is going to be funny when black cops are accused of violating a black guy's civil rights.
Yeah,
I mean, are we?
It's an incredible story. No one's covering. It's got to be one of the most. But again, like I said, I'm getting the details so I can follow it up tomorrow because I think it's appropriate for Negro nonsense. I mean, can we be honest?
That's really, and it's really funny that the Chinese guy who wrote the article had to capitalize black in the victim, but didn't say 4 black officers acquitted of beating the black guy.
It's so typical. So typical. Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you.
Sir.
You got it. Let's go to Craig in the car. Hello, sir.
Greetings from Atlanta Motor Speedway, my friend Reese Hopkins.
No doubt. Okay, Atlanta Motor Speedway. So I can definitely insist that you are in a safe space because you are not in Atlanta, or as people call Atlanta, what is it called now? The Mecca? Is that what it's called now?
I don't know what it's called, but we're out in the boonies out here, and I have to thank you.
What's that for?
I just spent 3 days with 120 guys from Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, and the Carolinas.
Okay.
And to ensure I have Southern PTSD, you make me follow White Mike again.
I'm sorry. He called before you. You're going to have to be a little quick on the draw on this one, which, by the way,
I have a job, too.
I understand that. How are you hanging out with 120 people? That's a lot of people to have to intermingle with. For me, that's like being at a nightclub.
Well, I work for a commercial truck manufacturer.
Right.
And once a year, we have training sessions that happen. This year happens in 4 locations. We did Atlanta, Vegas, Cleveland, and Dover, Delaware. I picked Atlanta, and it gets split up in amongst those 4 places. And there's about 120 to 150.
But do you have to know? Do you have to remember 120 people? I did stupidest thing I read today, which is this Mark Zuckerberg story about your friends are going to be AI, he says, because every person desires 15 friends. And I'm like, that's not true. There's no truth to that whatsoever. You come a certain age, nobody needs 15 people in their life. When you go to a job or you go to a convention and you got 150 people there, do you have to memorize at least like 50 people? Are you forced to have to do that?
No. Out of 140, I'll tell you, I can recognize 50. I could name 40, and 30 I'll hug. 30 you'll... You're doing better than me, sir. I couldn't remember that many people. Way too many. Part of the job. It's part of what I do. It's I'm on a certain level with the company where more people know me than I know them, and I try to make sure that's not the case. I try to get to know everybody. I've had a really good mentor in doing that.
Well, you have to watch that Saturday Night Live skit where they have these three guys on the panel, and then they bring out somebody that they're supposed to know. And my favorite one is they have this one contestant, and his best friend comes out, and he goes, "Hey, Tom, how are you?" And he goes, he said, "For $500,000, name his girlfriend," who's standing right next to him, and the guy can't remember her name. And she goes, "Come on, you remember my name? We just had dinner on Thursday." He's like, "Nope, not ringing a bell." I'm that guy.
God. I got to say one thing about the people in the South, man. I didn't meet not one mean one. They're all nice.
The South is interesting like that, but don't get lured in. That's how they lure you in. They're all nice to you. Yeah. Like I always say, I'm always fearful of people who call me brother because I grab my heart and my wallet because I know they're going to take something from either place, if not both.
All right. I'll make sure I don't refer to you as my brother.
What's up, brother? Have a good one. Let's get to our last but not least caller of the day, and that is going to be Evan. How we doing, sir? Evan, thank you for calling the show.
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great.
I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So on the Prince Andrew thing, I mean, it's hilarious. Like, he's on the flight logs. We all know what was going on that island. It's well documented, right?
Correct.
So, like, who else was on the flight log? Bill Clinton and Hillary, okay?
I think they show up 7-8 times. They show up on the flight log 7-8 times, according to, I think, yesterday's report.
Yeah, and you know who showed up 3 times?
Whom?
Donald Trump.
Oh, you know what? I'm so glad that you said that. I am so glad that you said that because I was looking at a video just the other day, and I was absolutely glad that I found it. Because I was going to play it as soon as somebody mentioned that Donald Trump was on that flight. Please listen closely.
Let's do it.
Our current president has had relationships with Epstein in the past, and there are those Katie Johnson and maybe other victims who have accused Trump of being involved in things like
Can't
this.
hear nothing. Hold on.
In my experience, Trump supporters will not listen to anything along those lines. Obviously, we're not a court of law here right now, but are those claims of though that case was dropped? It was dropped before it went to court. In your opinion, as a lawyer and your experience, is there anything you can say as to the validity of those claims, or whether or not there will be any more about that?
Nothing at all. The only thing.
This is attorney Brad Edwards. This attorney is a representative of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. This independent reporter is asking Brad Edwards about people who were asked to come forward to testify or to give any information they knew about Jeffrey Epstein and his actions. Listen to attorney Brad Edwards talk to this reporter.
That I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, "Let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know," and was very helpful in the information that he gave and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
And that was in 2009?
That was in 2009.
What say you, sir?
I don't really understand the point. So Trump said, I didn't do anything? Is that
No,
what we're going for?
Trump said that the victim's attorney sent out subpoenas to get information about Jeffrey Epstein and his actions. He said, and I quote, "The only person who returned his phone call and gave him active information was Donald Trump. The only person in 2009 while president of the United States."
I mean, sounds great. So, like, what does that have to do with him being on the flight logs to Sexual Assault Island?
Well, so that's absolutely fantastic. What about Eminem and Jimmy Kimmel?
If they were on the flight logs, they were on the flight logs.
Which
Terrible, right?
means what? Which means that Jimmy Kimmel has committed a crime, right?
I would say anybody on the flight logs there went to that island for one purpose. We know what it was.
Again, so I listen to what you're saying here. If they're on the flight logs, they went there to do something nefarious or criminal. Yes?
Yeah.
Go check the flight logs again, sir. I promise you'll call back.
Trump's on it 3 times.
You wait a minute. Trump's on it 3 times. Okay. Again, who else is on it? Because I know that you're implicating
anybody on the flight logs. We're not being hypocrites here, right?
No. Nobody's listen to me. Nobody's playing. No one is playing the hypocrite game. Nobody's playing the hypocrite game. I never said. You said you were the one who started this conversation by saying Donald Trump's on the flight logs. And now, Jesus, why do you wait until the end of the show? You should have called earlier, Evan. I got to get out of here. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on radio. He's Mark Christopher and Jason Catarina. There's in the BPS Traffic Center. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Thank you very much, Reese. If you're traveling 5 and 15 southbound, a crash in Hartford.
I should have grabbed him earlier.
Left lane.
All right, sir.
So
Have a good night.
You too. Enjoy your night. Yes, you should have grabbed him earlier.
I know.
84 is tied up, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound, slowing a half mile.
All right. He has more than what? He has more info than he has published. Another Trump. Yeah, exactly. It's always the same. It's the same nonsense. Anyway, you guys be good. I will see you mañana, and we'll see if any more of these tapes actually come out. Hopefully, it'll be more than one. I don't think. What's the name? James O'Keefe's going to get away with just this 6-minute video. He's going to have to do better than that. All right, you guys have a wonderful night. I will see you mañana.